I definitely do apologize for being late. I just woke up, so.
Good
By the
nap.
way, hello, chat. Yeah, good nap. Shorter than I would have liked, but I was actually, I got a bit of research done when I got off work today.
Oh, sorry.
I got a bit of research.
Sorry. Auto
Yeah,
mute.
yeah.
Did a beginner's mistake? What do you call it? Like a novice mistake.
Right? Had this, the YouTube's open.
Yeah. Shame on me.
We'll get into it later, though, because I found some really fun stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, Eric Sombro. Hello. Hello, Kush. Hello, Mandy. Rumor has it I'm in jail, huh? Ah. For what?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Timothy. Hey, JR. Yeah. One fast stack. Good to see you. So, man, I have a lot to unpack tonight. I hope you have some time.
Yeah, I'm not doing much. Just plodding along, I suppose.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to see your avatar.
Bone.
Yeah. Hello, Gone with John. How are you? What the fuck is that?
That's my success for pulling the alternator out of the car.
Oh.
Victory, my prize.
Good to see you, John. Oh, yeah, she's here, JR. You know she's here. Along with the other crazy bitch baggage. Hey, man, Letopia.
Cold ice. They're frozen out.
Yep. Sorry. This isn't an all-inclusive... What do we call it? Community? Society? People that just so happen to get together and have some laughs and a good time.
Hair salon.
Hair salon.
You
Maybe.
are a hair ninja.
Yeah.
Some of us here don't have hair.
Right. Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that, Manletopia. Truth Seeker is still convinced I called him an incel, even though that's just not the kind of language I use towards people. Can't remember the last person I actually called an incel.
People seem to get a bit hung up on names too much, I suppose.
Yeah, but this dude, seriously, like, that's the whole reason he's mad at me. Apparently.
It's like, it's kind of funny because you can call someone a cunt, you can call them a bastard, you can call them a shithead,
Yeah.
call them a so. Oh, you've gone too far now.
I really don't like that word.
Well, that's why it's upsetting people more than it should, because it's it's tied into like shame, and you should be embarrassed and humiliated.
Right.
It's like, well, there you go. And for those reasons, that's why you shouldn't be so reactive towards hearing it, because that's its intention, is to do that to you. To be called a shithead doesn't really, but the connotation isn't like, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Um, it's just a derogatory sort of slur, like calling you a fuckwit or something like that. It doesn't really mean anything other than maybe like an a-hole. But to be called an incel, oh, now you're defaming me, slander, and it's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And those it upsets the most show you how insecure they are with receiving such name calling. I mean, it sounds even more juvenile when you say, "Come on, man, it's just like name calling." So I might as well just say you got a small PP, that kind of thing.
But that's all the shit feminists say when they don't have an argument.
Right.
I've never not had an argument, so I don't feel like I fit in that category.
That's why you get called an incel, because like, come on, man, be a bit more creative than that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I have a lot better words for people than incel.
I mean, if you want to break it down, if you insist, like, okay, so someone might be like involuntarily celibate or they're not getting laid. Although I think the actual definition of celibate is someone who is not having sex from the very beginning.
Right.
But
would be a male virgin, right?
Yeah, essentially. But if it is the case that someone isn't having sex and it's an involuntary thing, like they would like to have sex, like, is it really their fault? Should they really be shamed for it, kind of thing? I mean, and for the person throwing the accusation, is that all that they think about, or is that all that matters to them?
Right.
So never mind the strength of character in any other sense. The only qualifier we're going to accept you in, accept of you, is whether or not you've had sex. So
Right.
you could go have sex with a donkey, and will that do? Are you going to be happy now? Probably not, obviously,
Right.
Probably neither is a donkey, but that's besides the point.
Right.
Anyway, it's just petty name calling, and unfortunately, it seems to work on a lot of people. And it's not just incel. It's like, you're not a MGTOW. You're not red pill. You're not a true believer. What do you care what people think of you? What matters is what you think of you.
Right. By the way, hello, Shinobi.
And to actually, another sort of, to add insult to injury, to hold someone else's opinion above that of your own, and especially that someone is someone you don't particularly like.
Right.
Like some enemy, a troll. So a troll has more power and sway over yourself and people who do actually respect you, your own friends.
Right.
So
right.
You're kind of insulting your own friends by allowing some buffoon to have the upper hand or the final say or who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why Alice gets so triggered. Probably because she knows I'm right, but she's like, you don't know me. How do you know me? Well,
that's an interesting angle because that's more like a self-awareness type thing. Or lack thereof, or self-awareness.
Yeah. Well, the name of the stream, Environmental Factors of the Retarded and Cowardly Culture Wars. Reality versus fantasy.
Bit of a tongue twister.
I know.
It's a bit of a mouthful, Okay.
Yeah.
Break it down for us. What do you mean?
Well, I've been seeing a lot of stuff at my work that I'm going to need some time to kind of unpack. Because I've always had this, idea that, you see something, you say something. I'm all about socializing people properly. And I have a very big disdain for fucking cowards that see something wrong, but they're afraid to open their mouth. I put them as the fundamental reason why our society is so fucked up to begin with. Now, in this gynocentric, tyrannical matriarchy, whatever you would like to call it, where our society is run by the most mentally ill fucking women, that seem to get rewarded for doing all the things. It pisses me off when I see them being rewarded for doing things. And I've always said, just, the solution's simple: fire all these fucking women. Tell them no. Quit stroking their egos when it comes to bullshit. Quit enabling their shitty behavior, because as a society, we are responsible for the people that we create. Like, we can talk shit about, all the degenerates all day long, but as a society, if we're allowing it, it's our fucking fault. Fundamentally.
Yeah, if it was a production line, if there was a defect in assembly, return to sender, you would take up the chain of command and be like, oh, we need to do a product recall.
Right?
And offer the customers a refund.
Yeah.
Reparations, damn it.
Yes. Well, and I was listening to Philosophy by Sykes. He finally uploaded a couple more videos, but he was talking about culture war and political prostitution. That part was funny. I forgot why I brought him up, actually. I'm still waking up, so my brain's not firing on all cylinders, I think.
Political prostitution is a good way of putting it.
Yeah. It's like, he was talking about all these fucking group identities that are invading his government. I mean, being a majority and then still claiming some kind of victimhood. It's kind of weird how our minority politics are playing out in South Africa.
Well, there is something we should all, whatever countries we're coming from, like, a worldwide societal way, need to be aware of, is that regardless of what party or what harebrained scheme is being put on show for us, like they're trying to get us to adopt sort of policies and agendas and what have you, it's because it's like a bombardment of information, and as a result you become disorientated.
Right.
Regardless of how stoic people might like to think of themselves as, this bombardment it primes us like we're ripe for the taking.
Right.
Because we're so busy having to assess and analyze, weigh up, who is a bit fruity in the head and who isn't, who is just a bit misinformed and need a bit of guidance. So there's a lot of processing going on. So we need to be a little bit careful. It's good that we're trying to be critically minded, but if we're overloaded, because it's the feeding frenzy, like sharks feeding frenzy.
Yes.
So it attracts additional sharks because they're like, "Ooh, what's going on over there?" And they're opportunists, so they think they can kind of sneak in and get a little bit for themselves. So that's why this bombardment gets exacerbated, and everyone it becomes like an orgy of political prostitution, right, as Syke was saying, where all these people, it's like a frenzy of hysteria, and for the mentally sound type person, it's going to be a challenge to keep on top of all of it. I mean, that's why ultimately in the end it's simpler just to be like, look, F all this, no contact,
right.
just keep low and hope for the best or whatever. But it just means that because there's so much angles of attack and information to disseminate, it's not actually that hard for one of them to maybe fool you. You might actually think, oh, this person's on the same wavelength, they're rock solid, they're based, and all this sort of stuff. They're spitting facts, they sound red pill. But it turns out that actually you made an error in your judgment, because more than likely you wanted to believe you had someone you could confide in, because when you look around, there are sharks everywhere.
Right.
So you might bend some of your your moral compass or some of your facts in order to fit in with this person that you would like to sort of have an ally with, because you're getting to a point where it's like safety in numbers. Your survival instinct is also kicking in to some degree,
right?
Because you don't want to be completely isolated, thinking to yourself, "Am I the only one here that isn't insane?" Because you know,
Right.
you're like, I'm pretty. Maybe I am. Maybe it's me.
Right.
Want to sort of bounce off or whatever, like be in the same boat as you or whatever. However, metaphorically speaking, you want to put it, but so that you just for simply so that you know that you're not losing your own sanity.
Right. Yeah, a little confirmation,
Basically,
a little validation. Yeah.
4 minutes of rambling, and then you just say, "Yeah, confirmation." Yeah, right.
Well, that's what I do, Billy. I deduce all the things into very simplistic, basic things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
confirmation.
and in his one of his videos, he was talking about America and the culture wars and how America is an experiment and how the democracy is not. He's not a fan of democracy, but how we have the rule of man, not the rule of law. It's the rule of popularity. It's the rule of trends. It's the, I guess, rule of what's cool.
The rule of what's cool. Too
I
cool.
just added that. He didn't say that, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to sum up what he was saying. I mean, it's a couple hours long, the little
Yeah.
uploads, but
People don't like having to do the things that they have to do. So if they can kind of escape their responsibilities,
yeah,
unless they're a bit more sort of mature-minded and understand the importance of doing these responsibilities, then they're gonna like weasel their way out of it.
yeah. By the way, hello, Johnny Midnight. Good to see you. And I saw CPDS drunk or CPD drunk too, I think.
Especially if no one's holding them accountable.
So going back to the accountability, nobody holding people accountable.
Get away with it, like fake it till you make it. Get away with it.
I've noticed where I work, there's a lot of men that don't want to rock the boat.
Hey, Johnny Midnight.
Actually, one told me he's the kind of guy that doesn't like to make waves, and I'm running in there and just fucking doing a cannonball.
So
So
on conflict avoidant. I'm a little bit
yes,
avoidant. And bystander syndrome.
yeah.
To name but a few sort of elements.
Well, I see the culture. I mean, this culture was absolute shit when I got there. Everybody was grumpy. Nobody fucking. I don't know. It was weird for a corporation and a business that's supposed to be working together. People just spent a lot of time talking shit about each other. You know, they didn't really work with each other. You know, with the common goal of helping the customer. It was more like I don't know. There's a lot of, oh, that's not my job and not my business. And I mean, I even saw people like try to sabotage each other. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like this little conflict war stuff between departments and like,
Comes a bit Julius Caesar type stuff.
yeah.
A point there could be made about the issue of confidence. So when people have a lack of like they don't, they've got low self-esteem,
Yeah.
self-worth, self-respect, things like that. It won't be a surprise they're not going to have a really, good sense of confidence either.
Right.
So when you got someone else who's being more loud and boomtastic and appears to be exuding confidence, but really they're a complete moron,
Right.
That aside, but they appear, it makes the lower esteemed person doubt themselves even more, and they bend the knee and be like, okay, you're on your megaphone and you're saying how it should be. I might not necessarily follow it exactly or believe it, but you're so confident, I will just trust you blindly.
Right.
But we know really that the person who's the loudest is the most cowardly and doesn't actually have the confidence. It's all a front.
Yeah. Compensatory.
Compensatory. Well, yeah, because to fool you, to get control, and it's kind of like to get to dissociate from their deep. It's a compensatory in reflection of the utter shame they have of themselves. So they're so disgusted with them. Like there we are thinking that this person. Oh, I'm gonna confuse the two people I'm talking about here in a second. The lower esteemed person we were thinking has not much self-worth, but actually the one who's putting on this bravado has utterly is even worse in terms of low self-esteem. They're so disgusted and ashamed of themselves, like you're saying, compensatory. They inflate the ego, and boom, the confidence is way over the top, and it's an extreme kind of polar opposite to get as far away from themselves as possible. And so as a result, you're distancing yourself from your true authenticity. So to outsiders who are a bit more aware of what's going on, you can see how fake it is, because it is fake.
Right.
It's so far removed from who they really are, that it's almost kind of cartoonish, the way they kind of virtue signal and we must save the world and we fight for us and me too and all lives matter and all,
Right.
this is like rainbow diarrhea going on. Like this is too much. So it's more than just that they are unaware they're doing it. They're kind of compelled to do that. They have to be exaggerated forms of who they're trying to escape from.
Right.
And for the audience watching, if they don't have that kind of core strength in them, a bit of integrity and the self-esteem, you can kind of sympathize why they might feel frightened to challenge it.
Right. Well, I could see why people don't challenge stuff. I mean, nobody was like my observation of this culture. Like it was every man for themselves. Like
it
was like nobody.
They're too busy self-preservation to want to challenge this loudmouth caricature on stage, because even though the wrath might not be directed down upon the outlier or the infidel, the hater or whatever, that fake show is a demonstration of the emotional power that they're within. So you see this person that they're on they're being loud, they're being bombastic, they're trying to rally support, they're charismatic or whatever. Even though this might be used at the moment in a positive way, you can see that this person is kind of like they're an energy fiend.
Right.
So should you get on the receiving end of the wrong end of the stick here, and you upset them by telling them that they're an idiot or an imbecile, you're going to get a mentally off the rail Karen in your face, and these people don't want to have to deal with that. This is why a meltdown or a tantrum is a kind of threat. It's like, you better make me happy or watch what I'm going to unleash on you.
Right.
And it won't be my fault I'm acting this way. It'll be your fault, because you're the one that you're supposed to regulate me. You're supposed to stop me from being like this.
Right. That's a fucking emotional terrorist right there.
Yes. So they use terror. I mean, like I was saying, like they're scared to speak up because they fear it's almost like the eye of Sauron or something like that. They fear being seen.
Yeah.
And they don't have the confidence to be able to be like, fuck you, I don't care if you look at me, like look into my eye, motherfucker. They're too cowardly because of that lack of, and unfortunately that's that kind of interaction dance sort of mind trick manipulation tactic where like I'm just going to say narcissist because fucking might as well.
Might as well. That's kind of your thing,
Make it
Billy.
easier to sort of identify who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where
Crazy bitch.
all right, crazy bitch. The
Crazy
crazy bitch
bitch.
fools the victim into thinking. Well, the thing is, both sides have a lack of confidence, of genuine confidence. So, like you're saying before, again, it ends up becoming a show of theatrics.
Yeah.
And it's all lies and it's all meaningless.
Yeah.
No one is genuine. No one is being honest. No one is actually talking the truth.
Right.
And it results in all this sneaky, double faith, talking behind back, stabbing each other, undermining each other. Instead of being the direct, straight and narrow. Let's just hash this. When people say hash it out, I mean actually like do it properly and like hash it out instead of pussyfooting and dancing and having this kind of formality, pleasantry. Or like a perverse inversion of it. It's the pseudo protocol of how are we supposed to conduct ourselves in this in these events. It's like never mind that. Actually, never mind having to follow the play script, the screenwriting, the screenwriters, whatever you call it, text. Just not like it's kind of like ad-libbing, but have a real human interaction.
Right. And that's what I see. I see more of it now. When I first got there, I didn't see it a lot. By the way, hello, Pope. Yeah, he said his mom. Yeah. Me and Pope have similar mommy issues. Yes, and I don't. I'm trying to wrap my mind around why. I mean, of course, there's a long history and each individual is different and blah, 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 blah. But being able to see the bits and pieces of the people when they're actually being themselves, when they're actually engaged in conversation. I've been able to have some really good conversations with a lot of people.
Well, that's good. If you can actually see the humanity, like the sense of self, then you're in with a chance because sadly, if there isn't a sense of self, like I know people talk about like NPCs or something, or soulless or robotic people, but they seem to be actors, and in a way, it's right. So if there isn't a sense of self, people their go-to tends to be filling in a role for this role play.
Yes.
If you've got someone on stage with a megaphone, well, clearly they're meant to be the leader, sort of. So you've got the stereotypical archetype leader, right? And if you're filling in the subordinate's role, then ergo, you're supposed to be submissive. So these people, instead of trying to express their unique individuality, they're just playing a role. They just need to know what role am I supposed to be playing? Oh, I'm supposed to be the chump here. Okay, I'll be a chump. Or it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be the provider. Okay, I'll do the providing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mandy said maybe your male coworker doesn't feel like he has your female privilege to speak up. True story. I think all the dudes are kind of in the same boat. There's one fucking feminist that is in kind of upper, I guess, management or whatever. And she, I don't know, because when I see the guys, and there's a lot of older gentlemen that work there. And it's kind of like, I kind of like those guys better because they're like, yeah, this is the way things used to be. And this, I mean, they're very old school, right? And then there's all these young people that are like fucking stupid and on their phones all the time. And that the other guys tolerate. They complain about it, yet nobody does anything about it.
Right. So the trouble I think that came along was in the past, people were doing things, say traditionally or conservatively.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really a need to actually express aloud the word no.
Right. You didn't
But
have to.
you didn't
People
have to
had
say no.
self-discipline.
Right. But as time progressed,
Yeah.
An emphasis was placed more on you need to feel, well, maybe it carried over, but this idea of like your position in society, your role, where you fit in the machine of the world.
Yeah.
So like who makes a comment here about Me Too? Timothy. So if you were to get Me Too, following the role of how are you supposed to behave when you get Me Too? Oh, you're
Right.
supposed to take it like a man or something like that. You don't
Right.
turn around and say, you know what, no to this.
Yeah.
So you let them do you from behind or whatever. You let them drag you through the courts. You let them take your house. You let them take the dog. You let them take the kids because this is what you've been conditioned to think is how you're supposed to behave. And if you
Right.
say no, if you fight back, that is somehow wrong.
Right.
So you don't want to be on the wrong side. You want to try and be on the right side. So you comply.
Yeah.
But in your heart and in your mind, it kind of eats away at you, and you're thinking, this isn't right. I'm being screwed over. This is disproportionate. This is morally, ethically wrong. And more to think about it, the more wrong it is. It's harmful for those around me. This is
Right.
unfair. That she's lied, she's cheated, she's swindled, she's manipulative, and all the rest of it.
Mhm.
There's no way you can logically justify what is taking place.
Right.
And it comes down to, so what was it that allowed it all to happen? Is that you didn't say no, you didn't fight back.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and it's not just the Me Too stuff. I've had one-on-one conversations with a lot of different people, and one of the managers, I was trying to get a feel on because I saw this whole place is not really working well, and I was trying to get everybody's take on why. He said it's been increasingly harder because I made a comment like, hey, is it just me or does nobody fucking tell any of these women to do their fucking jobs? Like why does nobody tell them to do their damn jobs? He's like, yeah, it's just been increasingly harder to be able to do that because apparently some of these crazy bitches will claim harassment if a man tells them to do their fucking job. I'm like, ooh, please sign me up. I will volunteer for any of that fucking harassment because I have no problem telling women what to do. And he kind of chuckled like, oh, I'll probably take you up on that. I'm like, man.
The initial way that path, that deviation took place, like
Harassment?
well,
It's like I fucking dare a bitch to claim harassment on me. That will give me exactly what I want. I want that trip to HR.
The explanation I'm about to provide can only go so far. Like where it is now,
Yeah.
because it's been going on for so long,
Yeah.
this won't really cover it. But the reason generally why people don't say no,
Yeah.
like, so I'm thinking back to my sort of understanding and research of narcissism. Like, why is it you let these people trample all over you?
Right.
Because you don't want to say no to them because you don't want to hear no being said to you either. So it's actually coming from your own self, your own self-esteem, that because you don't want to be denied happiness or denied being able to do things, you don't want to. You yourself don't want to be told no, that you're not good enough, that you're not that your behavior is not acceptable. We don't like what you're doing.
Right.
You don't want to say no to other people.
Well, I've noticed a lot of the people that are afraid to open their fucking mouths are also guilty of the same shit they complain about. So I think part of them maybe subconsciously is like, Maybe I don't have any room to
It's
talk,
like
but
like
when
it
in
kind
Rome.
backwards way of sort of thinking. It's like I'm gonna allow these assholes to. I'm gonna allow them to have the freedom to do what they want, even
Mhm.
if it's bad, so
Yeah,
that in theory I can also have the freedom to do what I want. But it doesn't
right,
work out that way.
right.
So it's not really about a case of good behavior versus bad behavior. It becomes a um, esoterical type of question. It's
Right.
about I want to be able to exist. So for me to exist, I have to allow them to exist, even if it comes
Mm.
at the cost of my own existence.
Hmm. By the way, hello Braxton and RJ. Um, I don't know, Billy. Things are changing though. I see positive changes.
Timothy's asking if I got 10 to 15K to fight a false accusation. No, would you like to send me some money? Why have I got an accusation thrown against me? I'd be like, proof, damn it.
Yeah, proof. The burden of proof is on the accuser, right?
I did have an accusation thrown against me, actually.
Really?
Well, it was a piddly, lame, like during my family detonation, one of the in-laws wanted to threaten and say that I was being harmful to my kid, and oi, I'm going to talk to the lawyer. And if you're not careful, Billy, you're going to be getting a. He looked up how long a potential jail sentence would be, and started talking jail talk to me. And I was thinking, and the thing was, it shook me initially because I was like, oh my god, I'm like, they're going to lock me up. But then I realized, hang on, I'm being accused of harming my kid when I'm the one look like
Yeah.
the stability when
Yeah.
when the ex was the one out on the weekends, going to other countries, doing all sorts of crazy things. No
Mm-hmm.
way,
Yeah.
no way. So I didn't accept. I said so. I didn't accept it. I said, go on. Well, I didn't literally say go on, call the lawyer, but I wasn't. Once I reassured myself that I wasn't in the wrong here,
Right.
I was no longer afraid. I sat back and sort of called the bluff, and I was waiting. I was waiting for a summons to come through the door. One didn't
Yeah.
appear, and then to really test this, you might like this one, Timothy, is that once I decided to pack up my ex's things and leave them outside and say, I want you to take your shit and get out of here, but I don't want you to come here. I want your asshole of a brother that accused me and wanted to throw me in jail to come over here and collect it.
Right.
So when he came over to collect it, I looked out the window and I saw him. The motherfucker was wearing washing up gloves to pick up the mess of a life his sister had made. And I was thinking, what a weirdo.
Hmm.
Washing up gloves. Like, it's not my filth, it's your sister's filth. Get it off my driveway.
Yeah.
And don't talk to me about throwing me in jail, arsehole.
Yeah. False accusations. See, I'd like to double down on those. Like, if you say the punishment for said crime is 5 years, I think the crazy bitch that lied should get 10. I
Um,
think I think that would I think that would make stupid crazy bitches think twice next time about. Man, so Cam got me into this show Yellowstone. I don't know if
okay.
you've heard of it, but it's pretty good. Kevin Costner. And there's this one part where this stupid crazy bitch feminist activist gets arrested for assaulting a police officer at a protest. And the judge put the hammer down on her. And that was fucking perfect. Like he was making an example out of her because he's like, I see you as a criminal. You're a repeat offender. Like you might think what you're doing is noble and whatever, but you know, when you throw frozen water bottles at cops, I mean, it had a very BLM criticizing feel to it. And sure as shit, Kevin Costner played the White Knight and was like, oh, don't be so mean to her. That pissed me off. I don't want to watch that show anymore just because of that. I'm like, finally, a crazy bitch gets justice and is going to be setting an example for others. And the one with all these old principles that he's been fighting for goes in and like saves the day, saves her from responsibility.
In the long term, it's all gonna just have to remind us if ever you feel doubt and you know you need a bit of reassurance. Just remind yourself, like as long as you're being, you know, and I don't mean like subjectively good. Everyone likes to think of themselves as being good or whatever, but you know, you shit tested yourself, checks and balance, and all this, and you've got to, you know, you accept the pros and cons, and you overall speaking, you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm an all right person. I'm not malicious, at least, sort of thing.
Right.
Then you can be reassured in knowing that whatever it is that the more maliciously minded people are up to
Right.
is going to backfire. They can only get away with things for so long, and
Yeah.
even this white knighting aspect, because what is that? I mean, it's a long-term strategy or prognosis. So unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of patience, but because the white knight wants to defend the woman to such a degree, like she's a you know, she's a butterfly. She can't do
Right.
anything wrong, and all. He's creating this over exaggerated, embellished image standard in a way that she now has to live up to. So she's gonna have. So he's in a way with, even though he's trying to get her off the hook, he's setting up a bar of expectations that is ultra high, that she now needs to sort of pretend to exude. She has to now replicate it and fit this image. So because it's going to be really hard for her to do so, it means she's going to fuck up very easily as well.
See, me too. Johnny, I'm with you, Johnny, on that one. Wood chipper.
And that kind of thing ends up becoming a little bit of a game that the white knight or the flying monkey or whoever the enabler plays with the narcissist, and they're off in their own little shared fantasy of trying to support each other, and it's a bit of a backwards and forwards type of thing, and it's a constant damage control situation. It's not really your issue,
Right.
so as long as you got your ducks in a row and you got your things like nailed down, or whatever the kind of expression is, you know, like as long as you've got everything sorted and you're sure as sure and all this sort of stuff, this kind of malarkey that's going on between the knight and the narcissist, it is their sort of business. You don't really need to concern yourself about it. Now, in regards to the rest of society, maybe they're trying to convince the judge, like we're using in this sort of hypothetical scenario.
Yeah. I should play it.
It no longer becomes a burden of proof. It's almost like a burden of convincing. So how much can you artificially fabricate a stereotypical virtuous image of someone that they must adhere to, otherwise, in order to cover up the cracks? You know, and the more this kind of shenanigans, like more incidents, and it spreads across like society, where See, in the past, maybe you might have fooled one or two judges, but now it's kind of taken, commonplace. So judges know what's going on.
Hmm.
It now becomes a bit of a. It puts the judge in a bit of an awkward position because they have to consciously turn a blind eye. It's like I know, So and I both know, but I don't know. Maybe they don't have the right way of expressing it or something like this. But whether or not they call out the BS or not, I mean, this is one way. This is why they're the judge. But
Yeah.
But that's it's still it's not your response. That becomes the judge's responsibility, and how much it weighs on their soul and heart. Maybe the judge doesn't give a fuck, or maybe they actually have a bit of a conscience and be like, you know what, I've seen this happen too many times, and they know the game now and they figured it out. It's like, hang on, no, this ain't right. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, she was part of she's from California, I guess. I think they're supposed to be in Montana, maybe. Yeah, because Yellowstone. But these old dudes are like, the judge actually was like, I'm afraid for the future. We're leaving our children. I don't really recognize this world anymore. These are old school dudes, and she brought a bunch of people from California to fucking protest some bullshit that was going on. But I thought, I was just like, yes, this is the best. This is what they all need. And then Kevin Costner went in and was like, that was cruel. You didn't have to do that. I was like, shut up. No. Those are the same guys that you guys complain about all the time.
yeah,
The simps.
it comes down. It no longer becomes arguing evidence or facts or points. Right. It comes down to, you said before what do you call it? A competition, popularity contest. It becomes it's almost like a insecurity contest. Who here is the most insecure, or who on the opposite, who has the most sense of security? Those who are secure and don't mind taking the risk, because they accept the responsibility and consequence. They will speak out. They'll be vocal because it's like, fuck this.
Yes.
I don't care what happens. I'm happy to reap the punishment, be exiled or whatever, because I stand on my morals and in my heart, I can live with myself. Those who are insecure will be the ones, and making a big hoo-ha and getting into a tizzy.
Yeah. I'm in the process of testing some things at the moment. By the way, hello, K-Plan. Good to see you. Yeah, because, a lot of people are afraid to speak up, which, okay. They're afraid of the consequences. I'm like, okay. Like, I see the consequences for all the things I've been doing at this place. I'm like, I want to have a sit down with these HR people. I want one of these crazy bitches to complain about me, go to HR about me. I'm like, please, one of you give me what I want. Because I mean, like, nothing I do is really a fireable offense. Like, really.
It's a funny one. The trouble is like, because they're inept. Is that the right word? Inept. They're not very capable of regulating their own emotions, taking care of themselves, doing their responsibilities and duties, and being part of a functional society. Their dependents. They require someone who has a bit of a backbone. The trouble is, like, let's say you, for instance, so they require someone like you having your backbone to keep it all together. Without you, they'll be left to their own devices. But you're also giving them pushback, which they're not happy with. So they would like to get rid of you, but they can't get rid of you because they need you, because they're dependents. So they're kind of fucked. Now, in their ideal world, they just want to have control over you. So they don't really want to extradite you because you're
Right.
useful. You're they want you in servitude.
Yeah.
They want you to be underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
So the way they look at you is that maybe they might try and chalk it up as if like, oh, GM, oh, she's just a bit doolally, or she just needs a bit of conditioning, or she's still new here, or
Apparently,
yeah,
I have extreme views.
right. So maybe they're like, oh, she's just like a horse that we need to break, or whatever the expression that kind of phrasing is. So we just need to break her soul, her will, her spirit, and her soul, and then she'll, and then everything will be well. So they might say to you something like, "Get with the program. That's not how we run things here."
Nope.
But
They don't say anything.
now,
Nobody really says anything.
if there were several people like yourself there, then
Yeah.
yes, maybe they would be more willing to be like, okay, we don't need this many people criticizing us. We can get rid of some of them. We still have one or two here that will carry our weight for us.
Right.
But if you're the only one, then
Yeah.
as much as they might resent you talking back to them, they kind of need you there at the same time.
Well, I'm very useful, and I'm fixing a lot of things. So
right,
and many people appreciate it. So
in that sense, then they're not as dumb as they look, because if they were completely like ultra low level narcissist, they weren't even thinking of
right.
your uses, then they might sort of try and get rid of you in a haste.
Mm.
And then think back later on and be like, oh shit, why did I do? I mean, that's the kind of hoovering aspect in the relationship, where that's why the narcissist never really does truly discard you. They just get you out the picture because you're disrupting their game or their fantasy, or your services are not required at this moment in time, so you're temporarily discarded. They tell you it's finished for good, but that's a lie. And then when you're required again, they start hoovering you back in.
Yeah.
I think Hammerhand was recently getting in one of his exes, or a couple have been trying to get back in touch with him after however many years. It's like, oh yeah, what have you been doing during this time?
Right. Right. By the way, I'm really pissed. I don't see Hammer's channel anymore. I saw Truth Seeker fucking posted something, and then I went to go look if it was true, and I was like, God damn it.
How many, what's that? His third, fourth channel, fifth channel? I don't know how many channels he's had. But if he's done it before, I've heard him say before as well, like if ever his channel gets taken down, he'll just, recreate a new one and be back. Word will get round and he'll get the subs back up.
But I thought, I don't know, maybe it was false hope on my end. I mean, because I saw he got monetized. I saw Chronic got monetized. I mean, I've seen quite a few other I mean, they don't put the MGTOW banner on, but they do a lot of MGTOW kind of content. They got monetized, and I'm like, oh yes, this. I see this as progress. Even 21 Studios got a strike, and they didn't appeal, and it was accepted. Like, I was like, ooh, maybe there's some shift. And then this fucking shit happens. Like, that shit pisses me off.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just a little blip.
Yeah. I'm going to take out my rage on the crazy bitches at work, though.
He's got too much spirit to be kept down.
Yeah.
He's not going to go down without a fight, kind of thing.
Yeah, I know.
And even if he was in his grave, I'm sure he'd be a stubborn corpse. He'd be like, fucking, his hand would be popping up out of the soil, and be like, goddamn zombie, stay dead, damn it. Like, oh, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah. Hey, Woody, how are you? Yeah, I think he did. I can't find it. A Truth Seeker said he did. I couldn't find it. So that broken clock was right. He's not often right, but he's right about that. Yeah, there are more of us than them.
In a
Hope.
kind of backwards. This ain't gonna really do anyone make any real difference. I've made comments before about how because stop being so aloof, Billy. So the narcissist likes to invade your mind, so that even if the narcissist isn't around or has died or something like that, they can still kind of live on inside your head, like in a rent free, and terrorize you throughout the rest of your life.
Right.
But it also works the other way. So even though, let's say they erase Hammerhand, they delete all his videos, it
Yeah.
wouldn't really make a difference in a way because he has already influenced other people, especially the
Oh,
people
yeah.
that hate him, the people that took him down.
Yep.
So killing him doesn't really get rid of him; it just makes him immortal,
Yes. It makes him a
a
martyr.
martyr. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean that's not going to really make any difference to anyone at the end of the day, but um, it's just a sort of spirituality kind of thought to have, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because the narcissist holds a grudge more than anyone. So as much as I might say like the narcissist is occupying their victim's skull and haunting them, the victim isn't really holding a grudge. Hopefully, anyway, they're not. They're just being terrorized by this ghost. But tables turned. Um, the narcissist with these images of Hammerhand or whatever or whoever, it's gonna piss them off.
Right.
They'll be very you know how rageful and bitter and angry and despicable they are, and as they get older, it gets worse, and how that anger really does consume them.
It seems like not very many people knew about that.
Has he got backup? He's got that backup channel that's kind of more comic book based, rock pop something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that taken down as well?
I don't know. Oh, Dak even put up a video about it. Pop Culture Rocks is what it's called?
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah.
Culture Rocks. Yeah, that one's still there. Yeah. I don't really pay attention to that one either because I don't watch the comics, and like I appreciate his commentary and that kind of stuff. I just like when I see something like when he was talking about the She-Hulk, I was like, oh god, good thing I'm not watching that. It sounds awful.
Yeah.
Hey Outlaw, how are you?
Oh no, I need to watch your video later on about. I saw you something about how to make MGTOW content. I was gonna leave a comment. You know, you're here. I might as well just say it. I would say 2 points. You speak from the heart if you've got one, and the other one is if you're telling people how to make MGTOW content, we're in trouble.
What?
Think about it. You know, because if you're a MGTOW, you would know how to make content in a way. If you're going to tell someone how to make content, then they're be a bit careful.
Oh.
Careful, like maybe it would be like beginner's advice or something like that. Like I'd say a MGTOW content creator would have a bit of MGTOW experience behind them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be they wouldn't be teaching on the fly. Hopefully not, anyway.
Yeah.
I suppose to some degree they might do. Or at least in terms of getting their formalities, their format established.
Yeah.
But the pearls of wisdom, the philosophy, should be something that's kind of like ingrained and embedded, right?
Yeah. I think so. I don't know. I don't make content, so.
Yeah, and it's a conversation I'll have on his channel because otherwise I'm deviating from your topic here tonight.
Retarded and cowardly culture wars, reality versus fantasy. So, do you think the catastrophizing is a lot of fantasy?
It's kind of in that direct, like a runaway emotional train might be a way of describing it.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be completely in a fantasy sort of realm, but it needs. It's just something to be a bit careful that it doesn't get carried away with. You know, imaginations run wild.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean it's not true, or it doesn't pay off to be cautious or prepared. You know, you still need to have your due diligence about you and your precautions. You know, your sensibilities, but you need to also remind yourself, well, what's within your control and what isn't. Because let's say there's going to be a great flood, or a meteorite is going to land on your house or whatever. I mean, what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Right.
So you might want to and be like, oh, the calamity is coming, and scream to the hills. But is it going to really do anything? I mean, what you're doing still being there, if this is the case, like get your ass into another country or something, if you're so worried about it. Or enjoy the time that you have remaining instead of curling up into a fetal position or running around like a headless chicken.
Right. Yeah, I'm seeing this culture. I'm seeing a lot of things in this culture shift. This micro culture that I'm working at. There's the morale is a bit higher. Like the guys that I've made contact with and connected with, and like when I was going around to like my favorite department and asking the guys that work daytime, like, you know, their input on, because I have this project that I'm working on that I'm fixing it, right? There's so many things wrong with it. One of the things wrong with it is where they put the overstock stuff. And so that's kind of been my little baby project, kind of trying to make things easier, I guess, and put shit where it should go, really. And I went around and asked a bunch of the daytime people, the guys, like how things were, what would be useful to, you know, help them do their job better during the day. And they were super excited for one. Like every single one of them thanked me for asking their opinion. I thought that was kind of weird. Like individually, they all thanked me for that, like during these conversations.
Oh, you see me. I exist. Oh, you're asking me a question.
Right,
You're asking me to
right,
make my life easier. You mean you care about me? Oh, no one's ever cared about me before.
right. It's
Shows
just
you how
so
much unloved they've been.
right. Well, and that's what I saw. Like, a bunch of grumpy old men, that are grumpy and they talk shit about each other and nobody works together, But like, one of my favorites. He's not a favorite amongst a lot of other people, but he's one of my favorites because he's apparently he's the most sexist, which obviously he'd be my favorite. But he even complimented another. Like, he told me a compliment about this other one that he'd been talking shit about. And he said, it's nice to see people starting to work together here. I was like, ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a nice thing where happiness or pleasantry, like, or being kind to people has that can have that contagion effect.
Yeah.
You make one person feel a bit better about themselves, and they like how that makes them feel, so they in turn be kinder to those around them, and that it becomes like a feedback loop, and it makes them feel even more better being nice to other people, and it spreads and spreads, and then they start noticing it, and good. That's good stuff.
Yeah, because
don't like that kind of thing, but
the what?
The chaos demons.
I know, and I'm paying attention to see their reactions. I mean, the chaos demons, they've actually been behaving themselves strangely. I don't quite see the shit I used to before I would make comments, but they could be doing the shit while I'm not there too. So
I suspect they're having to do a lot of as part of damage control or just control in general to reassess their tactics. So they're playing. I would say that basically they're playing nice because they're not too sure how to leverage the situation.
Well, as they play nice, they lose more and more leverage day by day.
Yeah. Because they're constantly like hyper vigilant and hypersensitivity. So they're looking around and they're like, "Oh, today everyone's nice. What's going on? That doesn't seem, that's not right. That makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like it when people are nice. Oh, I'm losing control here. How am I going to get control?" And it becomes a bit of an awkward one because like if you've got someone who's happy and here's the chaos demon is like, I need to get control back. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to go start bitching at them. It's not going to quite work the same.
Right.
You kind of need the other person to be like pre-ignited for gaslighting in order for your gaslighting to work.
Yeah.
If they're all happy and then you go over and say, "Oh, I'm fucking disgruntled with how things are around here," well, then the happy person's going to turn around and be like, "Hey, why don't you relax? Take it easy." And it's like, "Oh, I don't want to hear that. I want you to be angry just like me." Yeah. Then everyone could be angry, So it's probably the change of environment, the temperament in the environment is a cause for concern and an alarm from the perspective of the chaos team. So they're probably just like restructuring. The chameleon is having to change colors and things like that. So they're probably trying to test the waters and see what's going on. So the go-to tactic would be blend in, mimic, go along with the flow.
Yeah.
For now, anyway, until they turn things around.
Yeah. Yeah, Timothy, I am right there with you. That's why when I closed my salon, I remember when I made that decision, I was just like, dude, I am just so fucking sick of babysitting adult children. I have a son at home I'd rather be spending this extra time with. Like, but now he's grown up, so I don't mind spending a little extra time babysitting fucking adult children.
They're worse than children. I mean, you hear it a lot. And I'm not faulting the analogy, that they are childlike, but when you
Yeah.
really think about it, it's worse than children because children learn. Children grow up.
Yeah.
Children, even though they might be underdeveloped, there's still rationale. You can still reason with them. You can still explain things to them. You can still get through to them. But for these so-called adult children, it's far worse, and it's insulted to children.
Right.
I've seen some kids recently that have shown far more compassion than I've seen these so-called grown-ups have, and that was a nice surprise.
That's good.
They were playing football, so these are boys, and what boys are like with football, they're blasting the football.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good at it, and they're young. They're like 9 years. They're in my kid's class, but my kid likes to play football as well. So as soon as she's in the football pitch area, sorry, you guys call it soccer, right? Is that right?
Yes.
So
Yes. I was thinking football. Yeah.
yeah,
Soccer.
well, so it's soccer, right? So kicky with a round ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're playing soccer. So as soon as she gets onto the football pitch, and they realize that she's on there, they they're not blasting the football so much. They're cautious around her. They're considerate of her. I was like, I appreciate that, guys. Because my kid's reflexes aren't exactly that good. So you can imagine a ball in the face, send her
Oh
flying.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It'd be
Plus, she's a
crying
girl.
and she's gone. Yeah, so you can see that at a young age, those boys are able to have consideration, compassion, and able to control their power. They're learning the art of self-discipline and mastery,
Right.
you know. And it's those little things that go towards ultimately will be their masculinity, So that's a good thing to see taking place, even if it's on a micro sort of level.
Yeah.
And there's my little girl in La La Land. It just, the funny thing
Right.
is she's trying to blast the ball herself,
Right. Right. I mean, it's not like she's not non-violent.
No, she's like, you want to wrestle me? You want to wrestle Jesus? Yeah.
Hey, D-Dog.
No, just her reflexes, and
Yeah.
she's in a daze.
Yeah.
It's almost a little bit like the 1,000-yard stare, but obviously it's not. It's a different kind of stare.
Yeah. So, what are you seeing that's culture-wise?
Remind ourselves to keep our expectations low. Don't be fooled into false hope.
See,
It's good.
I need to work on that, I think, myself.
It's
Lowering
good.
my expectations.
There's a lot of celebrities who are trying to push back, but whether or not it's they're being red pilled or they're so-called waking up or something like that is questionable, or is it just an alternative fantasy in a way?
Right.
And then I mean, not to get too philosophical, but you could almost sort of shove in the argument. It's like, what is reality at that point? Aren't we all not living in our own kind of fantasy? And in a way, that's also true. So, but we'll be looking at what is compatible with objective reality. So as even though some of us might have our quirky little delusional kind of notions, whether or not it's still compatible with reality is it makes it good enough. It's like, okay, fine, we can make a little bit of leeway there, because at the end of the day, you're still functionable, you're still integrated, you're still useful or whatever, and you can get by and live a full life. And that's why they're called like disorder, because it's when it becomes dysfunctional and disorderly, problematic. This is where we have a problem. So
see, I want the disordered to fucking fall on their face. I want the enablers to stop facilitating the dysfunction. Like Mandy said, expect nothing and you will never be disappointed. I feel like if I'm at work, I expect my coworkers to do their fucking jobs. So when they don't, I'm gonna fucking say something. Like,
you do need some degree of expectation, but you need it as realistic expectation. Because without expectation, then you can't really have any stability.
Right.
You know, your stability relies on the expectation, like tomorrow is going to happen. You expect it to happen. You're going to expect to wake up tomorrow.
Right.
You put the rubbish out, you expect the rubbish bin to be collected. You know, if it's not, you'll be like, oh, the bin isn't collected. Oh, I'm going to have to put the bag somewhere else now, or something like that, or whatever it is. Or the bin is going to have to overflow.
Yeah.
You know. Now, how you deal with the unexpected is another thing.
Right.
But you know, it comes down to that balance where you don't want to have too many expectations or ultra high unrealistic expectations, but at the same time you don't want to have any at all either.
Right.
Because if you didn't have any expectations, you wouldn't bother really do anything.
Right.
Because you wouldn't know what's happening from 1 minute to the next.
Right. You couldn't plan things, you couldn't
like literally from second to second, because you don't even expect the next minute to happen.
By the way, D-Dog and Smith, hello. I have a little bit of info. So there's a feminist at work that, because her fucking fat ass doesn't want to walk from employee parking, she parks in the veterans fucking parking. Like, how disrespectful this cunt has to be to park in the veterans parking. What?
Yeah, well,
what sense of entitlement? Like, I don't get it. Yeah. I put that on par with this fucking stolen valor of fucking Alice and, oh, I'm a conservative and, you know, I'm a military family because my dad was in the military. Like, I don't. Yeah. Shit pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't like seeing that kind of behavior either. I mean, we get disabled bays, and you see people using them. Now, obviously, they might have what you would call like hidden disabilities, but there's been a couple where I know that they got a disability badge because of their child, and I've seen them because the child's disabled, and I've seen them when the child wasn't present. So it's like, why are you in the disabled bay then?
Right.
And the thing is, some of these, if you've got a disabled bay outside your house, that it's the assumption that that bay is for that household. But technically, legally, if you got a permit, if you got a disability permit, you could theoretically park in anyone's disabled bay, regardless of what house it's outside of.
Right.
So it's that sort of social etiquette where it's like you're being the disabled person that lives at that house can't park outside in their own disabled bay because you with your disability has done it instead. Then it's like the disabled wars.
Yeah, who can be the biggest fucking victim?
Yeah, but
Well, because we're rewarding victimhood. That's why. They want as many rewards as possible. We create these fucks, Billy. When they should be receiving punishments for their misbehavior, they receive treats and goodies and validation and ego stroking and compliments and attention and help. Lots of help.
I mean, in comparison now, the way things are going, it's almost like a petty point. They're trying to eradicate cars altogether from my city, so it's almost, what's the point of complaining? But like that's what you say before, is that kind of makes me almost as guilty as they are. Or
yeah, PBD posted something earlier that I liked. Something about the culture war. Hold on. PBD podcast. Or maybe it was on Valuetainment.
does your workplace have disabled bays?
Mm-hmm. Understand that you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. Standing on the sideline is not an option during a culture war in which others are pushing values and principles that hurt society.
That's a bit of a binary way of looking at it. It's not that easy though. Some people are on the fence, not necessarily because that's their stance on the matter, but more of it's that kind of emotional. They're not too sure which way or what to do.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people that don't like making waves. Which I'm gonna find out some more about that, I think.
If there was a bit more understanding, maybe, or maybe a bit more empathy to, like, I get the sort of argument that look, either like it's hard to, especially with given time, you're going to end up being forced to choose a side, or it's going to become apparent which way you're leaning. So why don't you just declare it or something? But it's a difficult conundrum or dilemma for those in the middle.
I mean, what do you mean side? Like, I look at it as you're choosing sanity and fucking responsibility.
Yeah, but you can see it with 20/20 vision, but they can't. That's the thing. It's that it's almost like emotional, in the ballpark of like bribery or blackmail, or I suppose it's like a dependency thing. So there's a dissonance, and either way, like they could agree with you and be like the flying monkey, as much as the flying monkey might, or the white knight, as much as the white knight might be aware that their so-called queen is an evil queen, he still needs to white knight for her because he needs that evil queen for validation. So if you ask him, pick a side, Are you going to be on the evil queen side, or are you going to be on our side? Even if he knows that she's a crook, she's a criminal, she's evil and toxic, if she holds the key to his esteem, he's kind of powerless. He might be like, guys, I'm all for you fighting back, but I'm part of the queen's army. I'm afraid. Sorry, wish you all the best, but I have to defend my queen because he is in servitude to her,
Right.
or he fears her wrath or something like that. You know, he fears punishment. That's why the codependent is dangerous in a way, because they'll be willing to break the law, not because they're like criminally minded, but because of that sort of, they've got their hands tied behind their back. They're almost like they're forced into it.
Right.
They have to.
They're being held hostage.
Yeah. In some ways, if they were able to make a clear-cut binary choice and not be on the fence, they would probably be very relieved by that, because it'll give them peace of mind.
Right. Yeah, I've been thinking about how to remove the leverage from the evil queen. Like, what is the leverage? It's a position of power and authority. It's the ability to, with any kind of false whatever, to lie and strip the fucking future livelihood of some guy.
Well,
like,
okay, so I'll try and make this in a flummoxed explanation. So there'll be a few different factors that keeps his allegiance to her. Like, she's a source of his esteem. She could be his financial provider. She could be giving him a home. She has ammunition of some sort, like maybe blackmail or emotional blackmail. She provides protection. So, and she creates a shared fantasy for this white knight. What is the society saying to this white knight? Never mind all that. Stand up and fight with us. That's not really a good. That's not a bargaining chip. That's not a good deal. He's like, I appreciate all that, or whatever, but with what I'm getting from the abuser, Stockholm syndrome, I'm still gonna be on her side. So the only way he's ever gonna come out of it is if that delusion collapses. And that's the thing, it's a delusion. You're not dealing with someone who can see logic or pragmatic. It's being fueled by his emotions. So until that can be addressed, then he is going to be stuck there. Where else is he going to be? Like, what you're offering essentially is killing him. Like, leave your life support of a evil queen that you're attached to, and come breathe and come live reality with us. And he's like, no, thank you. I'd rather stay with my delusion, please. I feel safer.
right.
You know, then people on our side are like, oh, we try and develop self-improvement and MGTOW, we level it, and he's just like, whoa, that all sounds scary as fuck.
Right.
So daunting. The more you try and put me up and boost my esteem, the more you remind me how low my self-esteem is. So all these messages are trying to help, and this is a lesson for MGTOW content creators to be careful of, because the more you try and boost someone's esteem up like that, then the further that you push them down simultaneously. because they don't believe in themselves. So you're kind of giving them a false promise, and they're disappointed with themselves because they can't live up to your expectation. They feel like they've disappointed you, even though you're saying this ain't for my benefit, it's for your benefit. We want to help you. He doesn't see it like that. He sees it as he's failed you, and you got a high expectation of him. You want to see him rise and become a masculine figure,
Right.
but you remind him of his deficiencies, because he's like, why is it I'm not like that? I can't be like that. I can't be what it is that you're asking me to be. I don't believe in myself, even if you believe in me.
Right.
He feels guilty and wrong because he feels sorry. It's like, I'm sorry that you guys are trying to help me. I feel like a burden on you all. You know what? Maybe I do belong with that crazy bitch.
Right.
But you can see how trying to help him sends him further into his delusion. And he goes to his delusion for protection because he doesn't believe in himself at all.
So going back to wood chippers, if we just put all these crazy bitches' heads on pikes, would that liberate them quicker? I mean,
Probably.
what would they? I mean, if you just remove the crazy bitch.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of, what do they call it? Where you have is it phobia exposure? That's how to phrase it. Let's say you're scared of heights, so you blindfold. I don't know. I don't know if they actually blindfold them, but for theatrical sake, let's say you blindfold them, take them to a bridge, and then pull that blindfold off, and they're like, "Oh shit, I'm 5 miles up in the air, you motherfucker! What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
So they suddenly saw the head of their oppressor on a spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of shock and trauma might be like, oh, crikey, that's horrific. The next day will be the enlightening. It'll be like, oh my God, I survived. Despite, so the evil witch is dead.
Yeah.
I thought I would die with her, but here I am now, next day, living. Yeah, and then one day becomes 2 days, becomes 3 days, and hopefully the distance, in a way, like the time away from the influence helps to helps to like lower your exposure, and you become more attuned to your own feelings, and your emotions, the heightening of your emotions become reduced, and you become more stable. This is one of the daunting things of the catastrophizing people, or the sort of the semi kind of borderline-ish type people, or people who are trying to recover, where they don't think they'll be able to get through it. And so you kind of have to hold them by the hand and be like, no, look, you will survive, you will get through it. And they don't believe you. But when one day becomes 2 days, becomes 3 days, and they start realizing, like, yeah, you reduce that survival mechanism in them that is constantly, previously that was constantly keeping them hyper alert, tending to their abusers' needs, because they're in survival mode. Like you were saying before,
Right.
they're in that relationship because of survival, because of protection. They need looking after. So when you reassure them, it's like, you're going to survive without that. Then they can start trusting their environment. Then they can start trusting themselves, and so their healing can start to take place. But it's that fear of being separated, of having that umbilical cord severed. They don't want it. But you say, no, it's been severed. You can breathe yourself. Like, you don't need that for breathing. You got your own lungs. What do you want to hear?
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess they would have to relearn a bunch of stuff, huh?
Yeah, it's back down to basics.
Yeah.
It's step by step. You know, it might sound trivial, but it's monumental from their point of view.
Right.
Like we might take it for granted the idea of like trust yourself, trust your environment, but for them, no, it's a important lesson to learn that the world isn't out to get you.
Just the crazy bitches.
You know, well, yeah, that's the thing because all this time it turns out that they were trusting the very people who wanted to hurt them.
Exactly. Exactly.
The people that wanted to help them, they were
Hmm.
trusting of them.
Yeah.
But having that whole flip, that whole way of looking at the world and people and life flip around is a huge,
Very destabilizing.
yeah. Then people, this is why it's almost like another trauma in a way because it's like, who the hell am I, or who I thought I was is totally wrong. Now I have no idea who I am. I've got no sense of self. You know, I'm in my middle ages and I feel like I never existed. And in a sort of funny way, they did. They never existed up until that moment of realization where they realize, shit, I'm alive now. I'm free.
Right.
You know,
Right.
welcome to day one.
Yeah, it's crazy. I see so many of those people. I don't know, you call them NPCs or people kind of on autopilot. Very, very distractible, very I don't know. It's so weird. Like, and I need to get, going back to my fucking expectations. Like, I don't know. I expect undivided attention, I think, because I give it usually. Like, so initially I'll feel like, well, that's disrespectful. And then I'm like, but then I start feeling sad for these people because I'm like, they just fucking can't control themselves.
They're
Like,
also preoccupied.
I know.
And
And
when,
they're dodging. Well, and I see the fear and I kind of see the cowardice. And it's like a dodging of, oh, I'm afraid for you to actually see me. Like,
yes, they don't want to be, yes. It's,
which makes me sad.
on the one hand, they want to be seen. They want to feel like they exist because they feel like
Yeah.
nothing, and so they're kind of like they want love. And that's what we sort of mean by love, or as a definition of love, is
Yeah.
that to be seen, to know that you exist, to know that you matter,
Yeah.
to know someone cares about you. That's wow. That's like mind-boggling.
Right.
But because of this low self-esteem and way that they look at themselves with pretty much disdain or dissatisfaction,
Right.
because it's like they weren't shown love or attention when they were younger, so why would anyone care about them now? So why would they themselves care about giving themselves love, because no one loved them before. So it's very surprising when if someone were to show them actual like compassion, it's a bit of a unfamiliar. It makes them sort of second think. It's like, is there something wrong with this person? Why is it they're being nice to me? I'm not nice to
Right.
you know.
Right.
So, but deep
Right.
down, they want that, but they're scared of it as well.
Yeah.
So they want to be seen, but at the same time, they don't want you to see them.
Yeah.
Because to see them makes them feel even more vulnerable. They're exposed. It's like, you can see me, but there is no me. Ah,
But they're fucking exposed anyway. See, that's what these people don't understand. Like, they're already exposed. they're where the vulnerabilities, like, fucking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like they think they're fooling somebody
Well, they are. They're fooling
themselves,
themselves, and that's all that matters.
right? I
So
guess.
they don't realize how on display their injuries are.
Right.
You don't need to be a narcissist like a shark that can smell blood in the water to see that someone is a bit preoccupied with issues going
Yeah.
on. And you
Yeah.
don't need to have a qualification in psychology to be able to tell it either.
Right.
You know, you see someone walking down the street and they've got their head dipped down, they're looking glum, they're always looking at their feet or whatever, they're socially awkward. You know, something's up.
Yeah.
You say hi to them and they run off. Ah! It's like, oh,
Or they don't look like they'll never look you in the eyes when they fucking try to talk to them. Yeah.
they've got a bit of a twitch or fidgety. I don't know. Like it can
Right.
manifest in all sorts of ways. You know.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know, the kids today have these little like fidget toys.
Fidget
ADHD,
spinners.
so you can see how much the neurologically speaking, people are becoming like schizoid about things, that their attention spans and things like that. It's all getting messed up royally. Like they're struggling to see people eye to eye. I mean, autism, that's one of the characteristics, is they struggle to look at you in the eye. It's a bit annoying when I'm like, I try and make that as a emphasis to my kid. Like I do this thing, you know, well, I'm not on cam, but you know, it's like I'm swearing my two fingers up. Or I'll be like, my eyes, and then I'll point to her eyes. I'll be like, look at me eye to eye.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit mean because I know that she's uncomfortable with it, but
She'll get over it. Make her do it. Yeah, make her do it.
Exposure and experience, she'll get more used to it. And I'm a believer that you do things that are hard. You know,
Yes.
so I find it uncomfortable. Even more reason why we need to, you know, work on this eye to eye thing.
Yeah, you'll run out. Eventually, you'll run out of things that make you uncomfortable. Like, yeah, do the hard stuff for sure. Johnny Midnight is asking if he can pop up. Actually, he made a comment earlier that I wanted to get. I know I sent you the same thing I sent Johnny. Johnny was a bit more gung-ho about my plans to infiltrate this resource that my employer is bestowing upon me. the mental health benefits.
I'm happy to have Johnny up if you are.
Yeah, of course.
He's a professional.
Caesar fee fair faux fum.
Be having him up here instead of me. Really, you should be having him talking all this stuff than myself.
Oh no, you both are really awesome at psychology stuff. Now he said his old clinic no longer serves male clients.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I mean that's
right.
That's appalling.
It's disgusting.
I wonder what Bright Spark thought that was a good idea.
Probably the same fucking Bright Spark that thought, you know, having the corporation I work at pay for the mental health indoctrination of its employees was a good idea too.
Well, if he comes up, we can clarify a bit further. Now, I'm wondering, maybe it's a statistical whatever way of looking at it, which is if the way we decipher the information. Like, is it a case that they've had a reduction of clients and most of them happen to be male? Are there any female clients that are also no longer being seen to, or is it purely zero men and only
That's
women?
Crazy.
You know.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I've been looking into this company. Okay.
Wouldn't that be sexism?
Yeah, it totally is.
We've got a building, a block of flats being constructed. I sent you the link, I think. That is purely for females, single mothers, or just for women anyway. The only way a guy can live there is if he becomes a partner of a woman. But essentially, it's a block of flats built for women, and it's supposed to be built like so worktops are lower. So it's actually like tailor made for women's needs. Like, I don't know, sanitary dispensers in the bathroom or something. I don't know, but it's meant to be. I didn't realize that a woman's house was different, really, from a man's. But yeah,
It shouldn't be. Equality and all.
I guess the toilet seat forever stays down.
Right. Hello, Johnny. How are you?
Hey there. Yeah, my avatar isn't showing up, but
I
whatever.
see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I went through Google Chrome when I normally go through, um, you know, my normal Microsoft browser, but that's okay. Everybody knows what it looks like. Yeah. Hello, Billy. How are you doing?
Hey,
Yeah.
wait. I'm glad you're here, Johnny. I'm going to take a potty break. I'm still
Okay.
listening, though.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Gotcha. But yeah, what I was speaking with Good Mother earlier on was opportunities for men to find psychological health, mental and emotional, and recovery options. And what I was telling her was there are so few of them now. When she had shown me that her corporation had given her a mental health supplement to their corporate healthcare package, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use this." I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." I knew exactly what she was going to do. She's going to go ahead and ninja in there and cause some havoc. And I said to her, I said, well, you could do one of two things for starters. You could either go in and try to find a based counselor, for lack of a better word, that would be more on par with you, so that you and most likely he would be able to canoodle together and get things going to help change things within the Houston Metroplex mental health network. Or she could go to just the most purple-haired, grodiest SJW feminist and put her in the mental hospital.
Yeah.
She's going to do one or the other, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you want to have a bet?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'll put a bet on that she's gonna give them a run for their money.
Oh
She's
yeah,
set,
she will.
set them to task.
Either way, whatever avenue Good Mother takes on that, she is definitely going to cause the counselor she chooses some time to think about what their actual career is, what their raison d'etre is. Why did I take this? Why did I choose this career? Why am I even here? What exactly has happened to this craft?
So she's gonna end up counseling the counselor.
Well, yeah, I mean, given, right? But the thing is that I wanted her to take a look at the roster of clients that her healthcare provider has, just so she can see how many of them have been compromised by feminism, have been compromised by the woke culture that we have that's so prevalent today. And you're going to be so surprised. I had actually told her in Wisconsin, and I was just like looking at my provider list from my company, SelfClear, and there's actually one counselor called the purple-haired therapist.
Really?
The fucking purple-haired therapist. Yeah, and you know what her focus is?
What?
DID. Yeah.
I saw a lot of that come up. So I checked the provider list, Johnny.
Okay.
So they have multiple categories. They have psychiatrists in their network. They have 0. They have psychologists in their network. They have like 66, 68, I believe. And I did count through.
Right.
And about 60% were women. They also have therapists, which
Right.
about
That's what I was.
90% were women.
Right.
They also have social workers. There's like 100
Yes.
of those.
Purple-haired therapist is a social worker.
Okay, so the social worker specializes in mental health and bipolar and DID and
They may. They're allowed.
so they counsel people, or
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really fucking understand.
Yeah, they do. They do. The thing is that even I have not worked in the mental health care business for 18 years.
Yeah.
So even back then, it was a bit ramshackled. A psychiatrist is a doctor,
Right.
a neurological doctor that can roll out any one of the medicines you could possibly get from a surgeon. Okay, they have the same, what's the word? Permissions.
Right. They can write prescriptions for stuff.
Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I could have written prescriptions for things like methadone and Antabuse. Those are the only 2 meds that I could write for with clinical supervision.
Yeah.
Because I was just a CCDC 1 at the time. And I had to say, like, hey, this guy's really fucking geeking out on heroin. Can we get him on methadone? I never asked my director any of that stuff because
But no psychotropics. Like
no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I could not do that. I couldn't say like, oh, their endorphin levels seem to be down. Let's go get them Lexapro. And she
Right.
has a vagina, so I couldn't do that. But but we did actually have a doctor in social work and also a psychology doctor, like a real psychologist, and they would be the ones that would be able to administer medicine. And as I had told you months ago, when the boys came in to the because I counseled an adolescent population, when the boys came in, they filed them up, and the doctor got them all on ADHD medicine, every fucking one of them.
Is that during the time when it was like a go-to trend? Because we
right in the middle of the George Bush years. Yeah,
like the cure-all kind of medicine almost. Everyone's got ADHD. Let's just give them these Ritalin or something like that.
Let me ask you something about that. During that time, Billy, was it the same way in UK?
I'm not sure exactly at what sort of years, but there was a kind of time when it seemed like every kid was just being prescribed Ritalin.
Okay. And we use like Adderall, Ritalin, just any one of those methamphetamines, basically.
Right.
And
pharmaceutical meth.
Yep. What they called it soccer mom coke. Because most of it's true, some of my clients' mothers were dipping into their sons' Ritalin or Adderall and snorting that shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Cam actually has a couple friends that he grew up with that their parents medicated them, and man, because you don't really eat on that stuff, and those kids are small. They didn't grow to their full fucking potential. Like here Cam is almost 6'3".
Right.
And he's got these little friends.
Right. Oh, bless him. The funny thing is too is like every 3 months we would have a clinical supervision ourselves, where
Mhm.
we would go ahead and speak with the doctor just to make sure that we didn't want to kill the clients. So,
Well, right? Because
and
crazy bitchery is contagious.
it is, it totally is. And the doctor actually put me on Effexor XR for a little bit. And I was completely, I didn't eat like the whole time practically. I would try to like eat a bowl of cereal or something under that. And I'm not a big guy anyway, but I like lost even more weight under that kind of stuff. My clinical director, he's this awesome guy from Congo, believe it or not. He's like,
Hmm.
no, Johnny, you do not need that. I will talk to the doctor. And he was educated in France. And he's like, I will get you off those. So like he said, don't even touch him anymore. It was just for like general anxiety about this, that, and the other, blue pill reasons.
Right.
And I, my director was actually very anti-medication. He was at wits with the clinical psychologist on staff that was just doling out pills left and right to anyone and everyone, including us. But yeah, I was walking down memory lane, I don't know, about a month ago, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to go on the website of the old clinic and take a look at the old place." And they got rid of the men's health care. No male clients anymore.
Wait. A quick question about the prescription of the drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do over here, government give not grants, budget to like street work, highway maintenance, and if they don't use that budget, they don't get that budget again next year. Is
Okay.
that the same kind of thing with the prescription drugs, that if they're not being prescribed, so it becomes basically a profiteering racket?
Yeah,
Pharmaceutical
exactly. It's a lot more free market over here.
because we get that with insulin as well.
Okay, well, I mean,
That's
a
a
lot of
very
people
lucrative
need,
sort of business.
yeah, they need the insulin and everything like that. But for diabetic problems, a lot of people have it, a lot of people need it, and it flies right the fuck off the shelves. But head meds, no,
Right.
they are not necessary.
Right.
Even if you're, completely fucked in the head, like some people we know, they don't need it.
Right.
They can, with effort, cognitively control it,
Right.
but it's going to take a while. Well, no, some of those fuckers are incurable, but
Right.
I
mean,
that's my diagnosis.
just a visit to the Crazy Bitch Boot Camp will sort them out.
That
Johnny, I think that
yeah,
going back to female accountability and, these crazy bitches having to feel a healthy level of guilt and shame for all the misbehavior and shitty things they do to other people. I think those head meds dull that.
it could be. It could be.
I think that's getting in the way of them taking actual responsibility.
Well, when you take a look at somebody who was highly narcissistic and diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, which is rare in a female, like Leticia Stauch, and Leticia stabbed her son 18 times, shot him, beat the shit out of him with a ball bat, and did something else to his body. And the judge, about 12 hours ago, put her away for good, no parole.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, you can find it on the Law and Crime website on
Why
YouTube.
isn't she getting executed? That's what I want to know.
It's
Why are the
it's
taxpayers?
It's in Colorado, and I don't think they have it. But like, if she
See,
was down in Arizona, she'd get wood chipped for
yeah.
sure. Oh yeah, but Colorado, I don't think has it. Wisconsin doesn't either. We were the first state actually to get rid of the death penalty, believe it or not, and that's why Dahmer lived, Illinois was just waiting for him to come on down, but
Right.
that was after 3 life sentences. Wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But anyway, this fat fucking bitch was laughing her ass off when the judge was saying, I'm going to throw your ass out of this fucking world. I think they should have put her in a federal prison like in The Shoe, where she gets like a 4x4 square. Just like living fucking hell for what she did to that boy.
Yeah.
But, they got to go ahead. She's already complaining that she doesn't like the conditions in the prison. Well, too bad, you bitch. Too fucking bad. Guess what? We're not going to concede.
Right. Right.
Anyway, my back to my point, seeing that this clinic no longer is an option for males in the Cincinnati area. That's one more preclusion against them. They no longer have that option anymore.
Have they offered? So the males that they did have they redirected them elsewhere?
That I don't know. I don't know when they quit. I honestly did not. They made no mention of it, the fact that they no longer have a male population service. But when we did have it, it was great, and I'm not saying that just because I worked there. It was actually a very good structure and development for men who were in high-risk populations that had to suffer their adversities and felt like they could only self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. And I would see people go through DTs, and people that just couldn't take their detoxes and stuff. But we have the facilities that keep them alive. And it makes me think about Angler,
Right.
He's actually lucky enough to find a residential treatment center because the motherfucker needed it. This bad. And he's there. He's safe. And honestly, you know what? I know this is being broadcast, but I hope to God that guy was born to be a counselor.
I know.
Am I right or what?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah. No. When he comes out of this, man, he's gonna
take over the world if he keeps his ass clean. He is just gonna rock. And I before he went to treatment, I unsubbed from him because I was like, okay, you know what? You're just fucking trying to get attention. I don't, are you doing this for YouTube subs? Because you're not getting any. All you're getting are trolls. And I didn't say that to him. I just quietly unsubbed. But then he went, and I'll be back. And unless YouTube is one of his triggers, I want to see how he does.
Yeah.
He's going to be just something else,
Yeah.
And I think he deserves it as well.
He does.
A lot of people deserve it, but there's something about his spirit that
even at his angriest.
Oh yeah.
Even at his angriest, he just wanted to fucking help.
I know.
It was completely. It was completely, muxed by the alcohol, of course, but at the same time, that driving force, that spirit, as you say, Billy, was coming out, and I don't think he knew how to focus it other than through a bottle. Well, now he's going to learn other ways, and if he does the right thing, I see great things.
It's like that anger was a reflection. It shows you how big his heart was, or is.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
As bleeding out and wounded it as it was, hopefully behind him now.
Yeah, he still had the courage to present it to the world.
Yeah. Oh, I know. God bless him,
a true heart on the sleeve kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know what made me almost cry was they would say horrible things about him and his son.
Yeah.
And he wanted to actually help the people that were doing that to him.
I know.
And I was
know.
like, oh my God, dude, you are a fucking saint. Not like Frank, but almost there.
I know.
The
Frank.
patience, the actual care that this guy had. He is like an INFJ's dream. And am I right, Billy? Come on.
Yeah, he's
But he wouldn't get his through his thick fucking head though that he can't fucking sort out these crazy bitches.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, Angler, leave them alone. This is my lane. Quit fucking with them. You can't. There's nothing that you could do for them. They're just gonna tear you to pieces.
Look what you did, GM. You actually blockaded a very harmful policy at a major university.
Wow.
Well, you were instrumental in it. You were instrumental.
Yeah, Texas.
Yeah.
Yes. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And now
I'm still enjoying that.
You're climbing up the corporate ladder, and next thing you're going to do is create the psychology industry. I think it's fantastic.
Well, because okay, so Johnny, I was looking at this, dude. They pay for. I don't know how they got him to do it, but they pay for. This corporation pays for 10 prepaid counseling sessions per issue per 12-month period. What does that mean per issue?
Okay, so every diagnosis that you are treated for
is an issue
if you bring it up.
Right.
Okay, initially.
Right.
Now, however, you could bring something up at the psychologist or the social worker or whoever is examining you. You don't have psychiatrists in there, so you don't have to worry about like pill rollers. But what they could do is say, oh, you were comorbid with this issue. You came in for anxiety, which I think should be your easy way in to say, oh, I'm kind of anxious about XYZ, right? And it's so common and simple and easy. Use that as your cover. Go into that using anxiety, okay? Because everybody has it in current year. And then what they'll say is like, oh, well, you're a sociopathic, woman-hating, misogynist bitch.
Right.
That's like 5 different issues.
Right.
Love it.
I was thinking about that. What I could... anxiety. I might. Well, I couldn't decide anxiety or depression. I'm kind of. Huh?
Nah, I mean, you may have underlying depression from like your childhood,
either one of those are going to be equally as.
I just don't think you could.
It's harder to pull off.
I just don't think you could LARP depressed.
No.
Anxiety, maybe. It's so simple.
Okay.
It's so simple.
Walk in there with a comfort animal.
An emotional support.
Bite a fucking pillow. Pillow biter. No, but seriously, just anxiety could be anything. Like, oh yeah, I really wanted to buy a boat this summer, and I'm worried I won't make enough money. I'm kind of anxious, and then boom, there you go. You have general anxiety disorder. It's that simple.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, don't like try to LARP personality disorders if you don't have one. I don't think you do from observing you over these months. But, don't, like I said, don't do anything funny like DID or schizophrenia or something like...
Did you notice that, Johnny? Apparently, like, faking disorders is becoming a fashion trend.
Malingering is what we call it.
Oh,
yeah. No, I didn't know that. I mean, I know that people would go on Twitter and say like, oh yeah, I have like borderline narcissistic, overt, covert with a twist of lemon. And I'm also, have DID. My other personality's name is Bucephalus. I mean, that's common right now. But I mean, that's also people saying their genders. I'm pyrosexual. I'm cryosexual in the winter. That's Twitter. That means nothing. Okay, it's just people role playing, and they're trying to do it
Right.
with their internet friends, and they want to get more subs or attention, just attention, basically. That's all. It's social currency.
Yeah. I was going through the list of providers in the network. There's a couple local ones here.
Have you found anyone who is based? Have you ever found anyone like, suck it up, fucker?
See, I don't know because I'm looking. Hold on, I'm going to click back on this
Okay.
to pull
While
up
while
the
you're doing
provider
that,
search.
I gotta talk to a man about a horse. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hang on. All right,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, distance. What was I searching earlier? 100 miles. I think I can do this with that. This Magellan, by the way, this Magellan company has so many businesses that they're tied to, or that is their clients, I guess. Also, our fucking government. So they accept TRICARE, or they're affiliated with TRICARE, or they're a part of TRICARE. I don't know. I need to dig more into their stuff, but here we go. Yes. Yeah. Provider.
Okay, we back.
So they do have provider types. So there was no psychiatrist, there was psychologists, they have registered nurses, social workers. They didn't have any under substance abuse professionals.
That's
either.
weird. That's weird.
Right?
Like a registered psychiatric nurse can also prescribe medicine, most of it, under clinical supervision. So he or she would say, okay, I think you need Lexapro. And then they would have to speak with their clinical psychologist or psychiatrist to say, is it okay if I prescribe Mandy Lexapro? So one of the things too, and here's a big caveat about anxiety or any kind of like mental issue that you LARP as, make sure it's nothing that they would medicate you for.
Right.
Downplaying it with your mouth when you speak to them is not going to do you any good. They're going to try to get you
medicated
first. Yeah, they're going to try to dope you up first.
See, that's why I was like, maybe depression would be better because that could just be a lifestyle change,
Well, lifestyle change could also be anxiety.
Oh.
I've got this new job. It's corporate. I'm really getting like a lot of opportunities thrown at me, but at the same time, I don't really know how I'm going to handle it. Just something kind of like that. Try to be positive about it rather than saying, I am afraid of X, Y, and Z. If you do that, they're going to probably put you on Celexa.
No, yeah. I don't even think I'm afraid of XYZ would ever come out of my mouth anyway.
Exactly.
But look at this shit. Choose the gender of your fucking therapist.
Yeah, you showed me this. Look at it.
Male, female, transgender, non-conforming, non-binary, or other. No thanks. No.
You could say something like, I think I'm a wolf.
I could.
Talk about your spirit animal.
Yeah, there you go.
Counselors in both networks.
Get a Native American counselor and say, talk to them about your spirit animal.
I didn't see any on the list. I mean, I saw a lot of different names.
What you're going to want to do is don't go to psychology. Well, see, here's the problem. Higher up the ladder is great in terms of infiltration. So if you do go with a psychologist, they're going to be able to help you more. However, like I said, it could backfire and they're going to try to dope you up. Whereas if you go down with a therapist or a counselor, or even like a new social worker, that way they're not going to be as liable to do anything like that.
By the way, why do they have the black woman at the top of the fucking list?
Because she'd be
They're
black.
so fucking virtue signaling.
I know. They did the same thing in Wisconsin. But
See, and I think the based one, like I saw one, I think all the based ones aren't accepting new people because they're busy.
right, because people are based and, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, this guy right here.
Yeah, he's probably cool. I can tell right away.
Well,
We'll be having none of that now. And
right?
you know,
He probably, and he got his PhD from Texas A&M University,
there you go.
right? So he specializes in anxiety, cognitive behavior therapy.
Yeah, he would have been a
eating
perfect
disorder.
match. And then what you could have said is, as you fostered trust with him, you could say, "Do you know what I did with Tamu?"
No, I want to talk to crazy bitch ones.
So you want to actually put somebody in the mental hospital? Oh,
No, I just want them to walk away from our
you're not going to
initial
learn.
Johnny, do
conversation.
You want to go with her like as a fly on the wall or something?
Yeah.
Oh God, I would love to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like fly a drone down to Texas just so I can like hear the meeting between them.
Hear my therapy sessions.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Shit.
I wonder, I can record them, right? Can I?
I don't know. I mean, that wasn't like an issue when I was working. They're very confidential, so there would be a
Yeah, but it's my confidentiality that they're concerned about. My privacy, right?
But there's also the privacy of the therapist too.
Why do they get privacy?
Because they're speaking with you about your private case. And that could be leaked out by a third party if you record it. So if you went...
It's my privacy, though.
Yeah, it is your privacy. And
yeah,
you should be able to do what you will with it. But at the same time, especially if you're, say, under some sort of experimental therapy, which I doubt they're going to put you under, they can't have that leaked. Like, for instance, when I was working there, they started rolling out 7 challenges modality, which was still patent pending. So that could not be recorded outside of the clinic. And it was a very gynocentric modality of treatment, by the way.
See, and they wanna keep all their indoctrination fucking hush hush behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
These are public servants. Their job, their work, their competence, their performance should be public knowledge.
Then you would have to infiltrate the legal industry for that one to make sure that you could go ahead and get that put out with freedom of information. But since you're a private client, no, you can't. So you are talking about a very, very gray area here. You are deep in the penumbra.
I like gray. Gray's my favorite color.
Well, too bad. Jocelyn Williams Thomas, PhD. So this is a pill roller. She does, she works with anxiety. You could say her bipolar, just flip out in her office.
Well, I think all of these people are doing like tele. Yeah, so it's like I don't know if you actually sit down with these people anymore.
You can. There are unless your provider is just giving you like the tele groups. I don't know.
I'm more concerned. Like I want to I want to interview them. Like, how do you get? I mean, because this company, this Magellan company, is a big fucking company, and it's a big network,
is.
and it
Yeah, I know.
has huge amount of. I mean, our government, city and federal and state government, also pay. Our taxpayer money goes to the pockets of these crazy fucking bitches
Hmm.
to help government employees that are women that are lonely and need somebody to talk to.
The thing is like, for instance, Dr. Williams Thomas says that she's a private practice, but at the same time, if she's on Magellan,
Yeah,
then she's also getting money funneled from taxpayers.
yeah.
So that is one avenue of revenue. Now let's scroll down. Let's take a look at the goth chick down there.
The goth chick.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, keep going. There you
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Megan Nicole, PhD psychologist,
Mm-hmm.
private practice, ADHD. So she's going to dope up every boy that goes in there.
All right.
Uh, attention deficit, anger management, bipolar. I don't know. Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy, depression. I don't think you'd want to go with her because I don't think that she would specialize in, say, something simple like anxiety. But I would actually try to get in with one of the bigger ones. They're more likely to not be telehealth either because they're business people. They're running a clinic usually, or they are partners in that clinic and they're, still again putting their resources into it. I don't know if Magellan offers that. I imagine they would, just because they're so huge.
Yeah.
Specializes in mental health. Okay. Well, there you go.
Right.
Kind of all
them
encompassing.
say that. What's
Yeah.
conduct disorder?
Oh God, you know what that is?
No, what is it?
I'm going to tell you what that is. I actually had a client who had conduct disorder.
Uh-huh.
It's an adolescent disorder. All right.
That's like a
So
precursor to like antisocial, isn't it?
it is, and I'm gonna tell you all about conduct disorder. Normally, your average rebellious teen has oppositional defiance, which
Right.
means I'm gonna have a mohawk, smoke weed, and you can't tell me what to do. Fuck you.
Right.
Conduct disorder is I kill animals because it's so much fun. I had one boy who had conduct disorder, and his DYS, Department of Youth Services, which is adolescent parole, came, and he lived in a group home and everything. Said, okay, Johnny, this guy is got conduct disorder. Okay, I want you to be aware. I hope you can handle it. And I was just like, well, I've heard about it, and I heard it's pretty intense. What's going on here? And he's like, this guy is basically, one day possibly a murderer. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I said, well, yeah, you know what? I could do it. All right. And I just wasn't afraid. And the boy came in, and he was extremely conditioned by his group home in how to behave around authority, such as me.
Hmm.
However, during group, we were talking about, I think the topic of the group that day was, something in terms of like rule breaking or whatever. And one day, and this boy's account was, yeah, one day, I know it's wrong, but like, I took this cat and I kept squeezing his neck, and I could see him turning green under his fur. It was really cool. And then one of the other clients, who was a lieutenant in a gang was like, "Yo, bro, that's fucked up, man. That ain't
Right.
cool." And the conduct disorder boy is like, "Oh yeah, that was bad."
Mm,
It's like he couldn't connect that
right.
there was something wrong with that, and he
Yeah.
freaked out a hardened criminal, you know.
Right. Right.
So yeah, conduct disorder is some heavy shit.
Hmm.
Um,
Reminds me of my nephew. My
really?
sister's son. Oh yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he she really fucked him up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, that's something like I said. You know, you could take a look, but
No, I don't need that.
what I would do is, like I said, you know, you could even do something like anger management.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. Anger management. I think that's my in.
Crazy business is driving me nuts.
Yes.
I
I'm
want
bored.
a wood chipper, and I
I'm
want to put them on.
borderline murdery all the time.
Nice, fucking nice. Yeah, I mean, you could do that like stress and anger management would be a good one for you. Then let's see here. James Guerrero. Oh, the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. That's kind of cool.
Can I just point out that this is so bizarre because normally we're talking about problems that other people have, right?
Right.
But here we are, like,
We're trying to make Mandy nuts,
yeah.
and we're trying to figure out what her her mental health issue is.
My diagnosis would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make one up, but that's people do this shit all the time.
Yeah, like I said, be careful which one you make up, though. You know,
Mm.
you don't want to wind up shooting yourself in the foot because that counselor, all right,
Mhm.
no
Yeah.
matter what rank they are, they're
Yeah.
going to look at you as a subordinate right from the get go. I did the same fucking thing to my clients.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is, I actually learned a lot from my clients in the end, but initially, upon intake, no. We can't help it that way. I think maybe professionally our egos had been fed so much as to look at you as a diamond into the rough, and it's our job to get the shit off of you.
Mm.
So whatever kind of shit you decide to LARP under, that wolf in shit clothing, it's up to them what's going to happen. Right?
Well, I can't really LARP. It has to be true in order for me to actually pull it off.
Okay.
So anger management, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I've seen you
Yeah.
pissed off before. It's not pretty.
Yeah. See, and look at this. This is therapists. This is where all the chicks are.
Right. Now, therapists are the ones that, like I said, they can't roll pills or anything like that.
Well, good. I don't want pills.
But they
Cognitive
can
behavioral therapy.
actually go ahead and consult with a pill roller. That's the thing that would happen. I had to.
Telehealth. Jennifer, Tiffany, Barbara, Catherine. I saw somebody, I forget which section I was in. I saw somebody here locally. Oh, look.
Yeah, get her, Barbara.
Barbara.
Barbara Washington. Sit down, woman. I'm going to tell you what's up.
ADHD, anger.
She looks like she's got an attitude. She's going to
I
straighten
know.
you out, Mandy.
Yeah. I can't
Nice.
wait to see Miss Elite on this. Little Bonnie Anderson on this list. But look at this. Anger management.
Yeah.
Behavior modification.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm interested in what
And she went to A&M, Prairie View.
Prairie View, yeah.
Yeah, she got a master's.
Mhm.
So, my question is,
I like her.
Yeah, and the thing is that she uses CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is really simple. It's just
Mhm.
basically like you see a trigger, such as a crazy bitch. Now,
Right.
how does that affect you, and how do you behave once you see that trigger? Well, I make a video and tell them what a fucking crazy bitch they are. All right, so what I'm going to do is have you take that video, all right,
Uh-huh.
and then from there on you create a treatment plan. You would have to say, okay, I'm going to take my videos and still rage on the crazy bitch, but I'm going to do it in a nicer way or something. That they do it in cognitive behavioral therapy is baby steps.
Mm.
Lots of fun. Okay. It's simple
Mhm.
and stupid. Now, if you do rational emotive therapy, that's a little bit higher up the level, which I think you would really enjoy because
Really?
you got the brains for it and everything. It's a lot more philosophical about what you're feeling, why you're doing what you're doing, and what to do about those reactions. Whereas cognitive behavioral therapy is, basically, I see it, I do it. What can I do to alter what I do? That's simple as that. Um, what would be really weird if she wound up being totally based? I don't know.
Right. Right.
She might be just kind of like, suck it up, Mandy. I don't want to hear your bullshit no more.
See, I doubt it. She came from Prairie View. That's
Oh, I
the
don't. I don't know what Prairie View's like.
it's the one. I mean, they're fucking black identitarians.
Oh,
They're
they are.
yeah, they're the ones that are threatening. They want out of
See,
from under the wing of A&M right now.
when you walk into her office, she's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
see you, motherfucking Barbie.
yeah.
That's
She's gonna
she's gonna see your
judge me
blonde
by my
hair.
white
Yep,
skin.
yep. And
Yeah,
blonde hair. And you, motherfucking Barbie.
yeah,
Sit
yeah,
your
yeah,
ass down. Yep.
yeah.
I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just I'm just trying to say what I suspect she's going to be thinking if you came
Ooh,
in.
OCD, obsessed with crazy bitches.
Oh, okay. OCD, possible. Now, the thing about OCD is that could get you a lobotomy.
Oh,
So, if it's really, really hardcore, which your obsession with crazy bitches is,
yeah,
uh, they might
yeah.
they might put you under the knife.
Did I just hear lobotomy?
Yeah, Manny needs a lobotomy
I might. I've actually thought about that before. I'm like, oh man, that would make life so much easier. I think sometimes.
to be stupid. Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too. I'm
to
kind
be
of stupid, but
stupid.
the thing is that um yeah, I mean that's OCD is a really like neurological disorder that you don't wanna bring to the table.
Yeah. I'm
Okay, yeah, you don't bring anything neurological where they actually have to go into your thinking meat and gut things up. Like I said, anxiety, a little bit of depression, your fucking rage against crazy bitches and feminism. That's fine.
yeah.
But I'd be careful about anything.
No, I think she's great because she checks all the boxes.
Oh God, you're gonna try to put her in the hospital.
No, I'm just gonna tell her like how things are and let
Well,
her decide. Let's see what she decides.
well,
My
You're
Miss
like,
problem
Barbara,
is.
it's a
my
terrible
problem
crisis.
is every time I see a crazy bitch, I have to kill them. Oh, fucking classic.
So
All
you tell
right.
them like you get a twitch in your eye, and then you actually start to manifest as twitch as you're talking to them.
Yeah, nice. I'll be right back. Thank you.
All
One
right,
second.
Johnny. Yeah, yeah. I think this would be
It's just
fun.
so surreal.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe. I still can't believe that this company pays for this shit. Like I know feminists in the psychology field have been weaseling their way in and attaching themselves to fucking everything and convincing the world that they need them.
But
But this is huge.
is it becoming more commonplace though that a company will do that? Because my kid's school has a so-called kind of like counselor, mental health, or they try to. They try to be a bit accommodating to support the staff because the staff have, yeah. I mean, don't even mention like
Right.
the anxiety. That's
Yeah.
that's apparently that's quite a common thing amongst the teaching staff. They all got anxiety issues.
Yeah.
What I think you should do though is basically this is going to be something that you're really going to want to think about because you've just been presented with this healthcare supplement.
I know.
And what I would do is go through the list, really shop it around,
Yeah.
think about your plan of attack because I mean you are an INTJ,
I know.
so you always have like some sort of modus
Master plan.
operandi mapped out, right?
Yeah.
With an expected outcome. So
Mhm.
what I would do is try to find out how I'm going to present myself, what I want the expected outcome to be, which you know what it is, and then try to find finally in the middle who would be the best target.
Well, I want to hit multiple targets. I mean,
Okay.
I want to talk to multiple types,
Well,
and
you can go ahead and do that.
I'm kind of looking at what group identity ideology they might come from. Like, I want to talk to. There was a dude that I saw that specializes in LGBTQ. So I obviously think he's a gay man, which he's a male feminist. Like, I haven't met a gay man that wasn't a male feminist.
Right.
So
pretty much goes hand in hand. Exactly.
Yeah. And I want to ask him about their education and like it's going to turn into more of an interview and an interrogation on my end.
Now
Because
they're going to try to deflect that, but
I
what
know.
you're gonna need
They
to
can't.
do is use your charisma and your chatting abilities
Well,
to counteract it.
my beliefs are part of that. So the conversation will
Right.
be around my beliefs about feminism, how it's destroying the world, and how women in positions of power and competent.
Are you going to go in guns blazing like that? Like,
yes, because I just want
I
one
hate these feminist
conversation with like 12 people. Yes.
Sir, we need backup. This bitch is fucking crazy. She hates feminism. Help me, please. I'm not equipped.
Well, but they're all indoctrinated by it.
Right, they know nothing better. They know nothing else.
And
it's like growing up communist and you don't understand how not to be.
Right. But I did find, hold on, there were a bunch of Christian ones too.
Right. Remember we were talking about that in the chat?
I want to compare them. Yeah. There were some that graduated from like Christian universities, and I've heard like people I talked to a few people that graduated Christian universities. They're like, yeah, we didn't have feminism in our university. And, those women that went to those universities ended up different. So,
okay.
I want to see in that field the difference in level of indoctrination.
Yeah. The delivery of their therapy. How will Barbara, which we know is obviously a big time BLM SJW, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Versus, say, Chelsea, who went to a Wesleyan university or something. Totally Christian. Right. Now, if she's going to be a TradCon, she's going to say, like, well, you got to pray and go to church and pray harder.
Right.
And which you don't agree with either. So you would be getting two different polar opposite perspectives. There still would be feminism in some way, though, with the Christian counselors, just because the churches have been
feminized.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form. It'll be gynocentric. I'm certain of that. Both of them
Yeah.
will be. You're just
wanna-
going to get. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see how much.
I don't know. It might just be the same intensity, but a different flavor.
So
Yeah.
you're trying to,
I'm very interested in that.
so you're trying to work out how many subtypes there are.
There's 12 subtypes of
Feminism. Or
crazy
how
bitumen.
How many tentacles they've got in
12.
each.
12.
A dozen. It's my guesstimation anyway.
Look at Barbara's face. Just try to get in here, white girl.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, by the way, went to a fucking went to go pick up burgers one day, and this chick, I guess she's a manager. I didn't know she was a manager, but on her, she had this fucking attitude, man. And on her name tag, it said Keisha. I'm like, of course her fucking name's Keisha.
Oh shit.
I was like, oh man. Oop, stay connected.
Let's go take a look at the Rogues Gallery. Aisha Webb.
Mhm.
Texas Southern University.
Specializes
So-
in telehealth.
Yeah, she only
Pursuit of
does
happiness.
telehealth.
Pursuit of happiness, behavioral.
Yeah. That just sounds sort of like a vanity counselor. Let's talk about our horoscopes and shit.
Right.
Rosalinda Horta. She speaks Spanish. She can teach you Spanish. JR's teaching me Spanish. He
Is
taught
he?
me the word choncha, which means cunt in Spanish. Choncha.
Chocha?
Yeah. Come on, choncha. Show me what you got. Damelo, mommy.
Mhm.
Then there's people who only speak Spanish. Christina Patho Robertson.
Divorce, blended family issues.
Oh, languages, it only says Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, kingdom dwelling Christian counseling right
and
here.
then yeah, Jan Anguish. Her last name is Anguish. Is also part of that clinic.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you're going to find two ends of the outward social pole, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like I said, they're both also going to be feminized.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
notice
English.
how many of them are female. Like,
Oh, yeah. Under therapists, yeah.
You like
It-
your eugenics, don't you? Sometimes, like this Anguish lady is biofeedback.
Yeah, what is that?
Biofeedback is haptic therapy where you are basically, it's kind of a tell me where it hurts type of therapy. She's not actually going to punch you or anything like that, but she wants to know, like, how's what's your respiratory? Is your she may
My
take your temperature, your
My
blood pressure.
soul hurts with all the crazy bitchery I see in our society.
That too. There you
Did
go.
you hurt your boo boo?
My soul has a boo-boo.
The misogyny in me is so strong that it makes my fucking head explode. I want to get in a helicopter.
Oh, man. Contingency plans.
I know, right? There's so many of them. But the thing is that what you want to do is take a look at, develop a plan, get a final outcome. I'm trying to think like an INTJ rather than me and Billy are INFJ. So we're just
I
like,
know.
oh my God, I can feel all this bullshit. It's making me fucking die. But the thing is that you don't have any feelings.
I know, right? I rely on you guys to tell me what I feel.
No shit, right? So
Yeah.
let's just use your brain, which is a
Mhm.
good one. And what you can do is just try to, like I said, develop a plan, try to get the strategy together,
Well,
get the final outcome, and try to find out who is going to be on target here.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find any wheat through all this chaff. I mean, I have an idea just based on kind of just looking at what they're into and where they went to school.
Okay.
Um,
Well, good. You know the area.
Yeah.
You know the system. So
Yeah.
that right there is a big plus, because a lot of people might take a look at these, where they got their degrees and not think anything of it.
Right.
Whereas, like you said, that one, what was it called? Prairie View, Grand Prairie, something like that. So that was a black college where they just want to like try to divest themselves from A&M and become
Yep.
black and black. You know,
Yep. Black nationalists.
you gotta go to her then. You have to, man.
I know.
You'll be the
she's-
only white client there. You're
I
gonna
wanna-
stick out like a.
I wanna talk to her for sure. I guess I have many questions, like structural questions, that I think I can get one in each visit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I can get an answer to those. But
What if it backfires? What if you wind up coming back with like fucking like cornrows and dreadlocks and like power to the people, power to the beat, power to the people and the beat. They're like, fuck you, Johnny, you motherfucking Nazi, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
like what they did was hold me down and medicate me and then
Yes,
isolate
yes.
me and
Yeah.
indoctrinate me.
And they pump Public Enemy in your ears. That'd be great.
I think
I
I'd
would
still
love-
resist it.
I'd love to see you become a black nationalist. That'd be based. I'm
No
kidding,
way.
Mandy. I'm kidding.
I'm just trying to think. I want to try to get one from all these different group identities that I know that they probably ascribe to.
So basically, what you could do from that is I don't think you're going to be able to see them simultaneously if you try this. You're going to have
No.
to. Right.
It's gonna be a one visit per.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I gotta find the right therapist, Johnny. No matter how many I have to weed through.
yeah. just tell your healthcare provider, and it may be like your human resources person at the corporation.
Yeah.
Like, so and so didn't work out. I'm gonna go try this one. They usually will just sign off on it.
See, and I don't even know how all this stuff works, how you use this stuff. I
Actually,
guess.
do talk to your HR
Okay.
person. And as
I have
much
to
as
talk
you
to her
probably
anyway.
can-
I have some plans for my job. I'm
Well,
gonna try to
good.
make my own position.
Make it a twofer.
Yeah.
And then ask them, how exactly can I go about this? Don't tell them that you're planning on strobing through them,
Yeah.
but just say, how can I go ahead and this Barbara lady, it looks like a perfect fit for me. I'm a black nationalist, and I think that we would make a great match. And then, she'll sign off on it. There you go.
Funny. By the way, I have jury duty in
Are
June
you
or
fucking kidding me?
July. I don't know. I've never had it before. I'm like, how am I going to do all this stuff? Work these jobs and then fucking
Billy,
get all this counseling?
No, Billy, no matter what Mandy does in the jury, like, she's going to be like, execute him.
Oh yeah,
No.
gallows. Yeah.
Do you have capital punishment in the UK, Billy?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, July 10th.
Big fun.
Yeah. Well, at least that's good advance. So I hope it's a woman who committed a crime. Oh man.
And that'd be
Oh
great.
man. Oh
She's-
man.
She's fucking dead. You're going to put a woman in
She
jail.
will be electrocuted. It was only petty theft. Yeah,
You know what you should do during voir dire?
somehow I convinced my fellow jurors that it was the best idea.
You know what you should do during voir dire to get out of it? You could show the show the bailiff your fucking channel, and you'll never get on it.
Oh, but see, I want to get on it because I want to see what it's all justice system's all about. My white privilege is making me depressed.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh yes.
And you got to say who white. They'll
Who
really
white?
white.
I'm buying one of those Hawaii, those hammerhead
I know.
hats.
I want that
one.
too. That one I want to.
You can go in there telling them that you feel burdened by the amount of guilt you have for your white privilege.
And you're wearing that fucking hat. I'm just
Oh, I'll wear my The Future is Patriarchy hat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Like, hi, I need mental health care. Yeah. Thanks. like the receptionist is gonna look at your hat and go, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" Nice. You are the funniest fucking person I've met in a long time, except for JR.
Bernowitz. Yeah, no, I say that today. Like,
oh yeah, we want the stake of the stone back.
yeah. Well, that's when society used to properly socialize other members of society.
It's true.
Like, feedback from your environment's very important.
Even if
That's
it
why-
burns a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, Mandy, you were fucking crazier than I am, and I thought I was nuts. Oh boy, guys, I'm gonna get going out. Remember what I said? Try to get that plan together, okay? I want to keep me posted on Gmail, will you?
Okay. Yes,
About how it goes, and I'll see what I can do to help you out as best as I can. Billy, as always, it's great to talk to you.
Pleasure talking to you, Johnny. Good hearing from you again.
Of course. Thanks a lot for telling me a little bit about what goes on in the UK, because it is quite different. And all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Adios.
Mandy's like 500 years ago. That was me this morning. Yeah, this company.
500 years ago and still here today.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. They also have life coaches, lifestyle coaching. This Magellan's quite the, indoctrination camp, isn't it?
That's the kind of
behavior modification.
That's the kind of stuff that sort of, not the coaching necessarily, but just the whole mental health and this sort of coddling aspect of culture now. This sort of trend or fashion where I'm not saying, I don't know, really, it is needed and it's good and stuff, but it's being a bit, I don't know, like,
it's taking the place of a properly formed community.
When there's so many like dodgy people trying to spit out so-called, and it's not like necessarily advice or suggestions, but they're sort of dictating how you should be, potentially like prescribing drugs and whatever else. It just seems like it's going to make things worse.
Yeah.
Which in some ways it kind of makes it more entertaining what you're trying to do, and trying to coach you through it as well. It's just like, okay, we're gonna play stupid games. Let's get some stupid prizes then.
Yes, I want all the stupid prizes. I'm a highly competitive, Billy. Look at this, though. Lifestyle coaches are certified to provide confidential and unbiased support, resources, and accountability to help you achieve your goals. See, I like it.
I remember I bumped into a life coach in in everyday life. I don't know, it seemed like a rare occurrence. So I was in a kebab shop just chatting to some random dude. This was only like 3 years, like it was after the breakup. So I was with my kid, just chatting. He's like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And he turns around and goes, "He's a life coach." And I don't know. I just like, I suppose, okay, good for you. And I hope you're helping your clients. But I'm like, yeah, but you're in a kebab shop.
Yeah. He gets hungry, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Being a bit too judgmental, I guess. Shame on me, but
Billy, you're not the type that needs a life coach.
no, but I was just like,
Some people need them.
basically, I wasn't expecting to hear to bump into a so-called life. I should have got his channel and be like, oh, so anyway.
Oh, like yeah. And check them out. But look, lifestyle coaching is short term and the duration varies by individual. You can benefit from up to 6 sessions per year. Coaching is separate from counseling, and your counseling session limits do not apply. See, this seems more like Crazy Bitch Boot Camp Arena. Counseling session limits do not apply. You meet with the same coach by phone or video up to 45 minutes. Coach serves as a guide, supporter, even a cheerleader as you set goals during your first session. Career and work performance, relationship concern, not getting enough sleep, maintaining healthy weight, personal improvement, navigating life changes.
I just really hate the title life. I mean, even like Richard Grannon, he has that kind of Spartan life coach type thing. But
yeah,
I'm more of the school of like, it's your fucking life. It's not for me to tell you how to live your life. So how can I possibly coach you to live your life? Otherwise I'm just basically making a copy of myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what other kind of phrasing you could use. So I suppose life coaching is what it is. Just being a bit pedantic about it, I guess. Mentoring would be, I think, more of an appropriate phrasing.
Well, what's a synonym for mentoring? Coaching.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's look up synonyms for
I could see how they,
coach.
how they derive it, like life, because you're trying to change your life and you need some coaching, so it's like a life coaching type thing. But unless both sides are reminded, I think it could just be a little bit of a pitfall where a PUA starts to dictate how someone should be doing things. It's like, whoa, you're not, you're become self gratification of the coach.
Yeah.
Disciple has done well, makes me feel better about myself, and it's like, whoa, this ain't about the coach. This is about your student or the person you're trying to help.
Right. So, okay. Mentor, advisor, guide, confidant, counselor, consultant, therapist, master, spiritual leader, Reb, guru, Swami, Maharishi. But no, advisor, guide. I don't know. Maybe that's for people that don't have people in their lives. Going back to a conversation we've had before. Anytime I had a question about anything or was seeking some advice, maybe I wasn't clear on my path, I would just ask people I know that I know have my best interest at heart. Like just randomly, you know? I feel like that's how communities work. When you're a part of a community, you have that resource available to you.
That's important. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when you get advice from someone that doesn't actually have your best interest at heart, then who are you getting
Yeah.
advice from?
Right. Yeah. Some random lifestyle coach on the internet.
Eating a kebab.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I would prefer to get advice from people that actually know me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like with therapy and counseling, there is a professional and professional setting as or clinical setting it tries to be. A relationship does sort of form, and with that comes, like, to some degree, a bit of intimacy and vulnerability, back and forth. It's not necessarily just one way.
That's what I'm
And if you
hoping
don't-
for.
And if you don't have that, then it's a shame Johnny had to leave. But if he was still here, you could maybe expound upon it. But if you don't have that, then the healthcare provider, like, then they're not going to be as comforting or helpful overall, because there's no relationship there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a level of care that a professional service provider just can't
I mean, you hear about them,
impart.
they become fatigued from being a therapist or a counselor because they've shared so much with their clients, or the other way around. The clients have shared so much with the therapist and the counselor that it takes a toll. Empathy fatigue.
Hello, Emmanuel, by the way. Good to see you. These are pitfalls of Western individualism. Strangers are doing everything that would be done by loving family members who have obligations beyond contractual duties.
And that's, in one way, that's one a way of spotting a little bit of disingenuousness when someone is being so virtuous, apparently, like helping the homeless or something. But it's like, this is a random person you've seen on the street. You don't know them. There's no intimacy, no relationship. How can you be so emotionally kind of, conveying how emotionally
Right.
feel towards them? Like, I saw
Right.
this homeless person and it made me cry today, and I feel for this guy, and I hope, or girl, whoever it was, is home, and it's like melodramatic or theatrical.
Yeah. Pseudo virtue signaling. Because that bullshit is not virtuous at all.
I don't mean, like, when you have these interactions and you do these charitable things that you're cold and callous about it, you can still have a bit of compassion and be like, okay, I feel for your situation, but the exaggeration sometimes. A case of discernment needs to come in.
Well, I'm gonna look into some coaching too. I want to see what kind of people are coached. I don't want the fat lady with the tattoo and the awful hair. I don't want her. I don't think I can learn anything about physical health from her. Or mental health, if her physical health is any indication of her mental health.
They're just gonna. I can just imagine like you walk through the door. Oh, pleasure to meet you, good mother. I am so and so. I'm your counselor for today. How may I help you? That piercing eye look. Like, oh fuck!
You can help me by finding me somebody more competent. Cheerleader. Ask yourself these questions. Do you want to make positive change in your life? Yes, I do. I want to destroy the tyrannical matriarchy. It will positively change everybody's life. Are you willing to put in the work to make that change? Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe I could pick their brains on any ideas that they might have on how to get some of these crazy bitches fired. Well, what do you think, Billy?
This is a stupid. Those two questions.
I think they're great questions.
Well, you can say them to the life coach themselves. It's like, do you want to make a positive change in your life? What's the coach going to say? No? Yes? Are you willing to put in the work, dear coach, in order to make that change? Like, well, yeah, that's why I'm doing this life coaching. Like, oh, maybe you'd be a good fit for some coaching yourself.
If the answer is yes to both, you are likely a great fit for lifestyle coaching.
So who coaches the life coach?
Haha, that's where I come in. Yep. They don't know they need coaching yet, but they do.
Back to the drawing board.
I'm going to initiate them. By the way, I saw bullets in here earlier.
You have to jump off soon.
Yeah.
Just giving you a little heads up.
Yeah. I know it's late there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, but I'm kind of. This is like my regular hours. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of used to it now.
Yeah. Right, Emmanuel? Strange how people are outsourcing family duties to strangers without any compelling reasons. I find that women are the most guilty of this. Any ideas? Oh, I have lots of ideas. Would you like to come up, Emmanuel, and talk about this?
They're doing that quite heavily in the schools.
Yes.
Over here. Well, they try to, but then they kind of fuck it up. They'll say like, we can have breakfast club so that you can get your, you got a job to go to, so you want to get your kid out of your hands earlier. So we've got breakfast club that can take care of your kids in the morning, and they can have like after school club.
It boils down to the feminist lie that children are a burden to fucking mothers.
Yeah, but then they have like teacher strike, or they like the after school club used to be till like 4:15, and then they made it to 4 o'clock. So it used to be an hour long after school, but now it's 45 minutes. And so this is meant to be helping parents out and the kids as well, I suppose.
Well, also if they're working, right?
Yeah,
it helps with.
I see these parents; they're in a scrambled mess because they're trying to pick up their kids on time, or they're late, so so they get charged for after school care.
Mhm.
And then during the sort of end of term holiday, the breaks between terms, like you get a week or 2 weeks if it's the end of term. They call them like camps, and it's I suppose it's fun. Like the kids might do some sort of activity or whatever at another school, but you could feel that kind of like offloading aspect. It's like like where can we dump the kids to keep them busy because they're too much of a nightmare for us? You don't have to take them to camp. I mean, you can go on your own little family outing if you wanted to. Go to the museum, go uptown, go exploring, go on adventures or whatever. Go to the cinema, or do this.
Mm-hmm.
But they present these camps as a kind of like a don't worry about it, we'll take care of them. Just send them over here.
Billy, parents want someone else to raise their kids. It stems from their own narcissism. Well, I think a lot of parents believe it's somebody else's job to raise their children. Like going back to feminists and downgrading, demoralizing motherhood or mothers. I mean, they literally try to play off like kids are a fucking burden. Having kids are a burden. They're going to ruin your body. Raising them, oh my God, you're no longer going to have an individual identity. You're going to be a mom. Like, you're going to be somebody else's everything. Like, it's fucking weird.
Recently, I was mentioning about how the school was trying to promote confidence. What was it? They had 7 key words that they were trying to embed into the children: confidence, motivation, imagination, something like that, empathy, and a couple of others. But it's like, I mean, yes, but why is this a obligation of the school to be doing this? Like, what are the parents doing?
Mm-hmm. Not their job because they're busy doing a different job.
And now that the school has kind of is promoting it, more reason than the parents like, oh, okay, I can wash my hands then. I don't need to worry about that. The school's got it covered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was right there with you, Smith. I won't say jealous. Yeah, a little bit of jealousy. For sure.
And I get fucking every time I pick on them, my kid is like goofing around with like the other teachers and parents. I'm like, oh, hi, Dad. Oh, I'm just a coat rack, am I? Just hold your bag for you.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to drag you to come home. Like, come on, let's go home. And she's like, she's so sociable and talking to like almost random people. I mean, they're familiar faces. So it's nice. It's good, but it makes me feel like a fifth wheel. It's like an accessory.
Yeah. I guess that's one of the, the pros of the 2-parent household. At least the 2 parents have each other, to keep each other occupied.
That's, it is what it is. At least in my
Yeah.
situation, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I know it's nothing like personal. She's just she wants interactions. She can only get so much interaction from me, and she's kind of familiar and tired of me. So of course, um,
Yeah, it's good for her though to learn to build relationships with other people.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop her or discourage her or something, or stop her. I
Yeah.
like her goofing around with other people.
Well, Billy, thank you for the therapy and the counseling
I didn't
and the
do it.
coaching.
Oh, but he's saying a life coach.
Yeah. The goat coach.
The goat coach. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Damn.
Yep.
I'm gonna steal that. I will write it down. Yeah.
Have it. It's yours.
And by the end of it, you'll all be rubbing your bellies.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
Well, do you think we made anybody nihilistic during this stream, or
No.
have we not done our duty yet?
No. Well, if we have, oh boy, are they in for a treat at some point, because we haven't. It's not even scratching the surface. Like, you want to get nihilistic? You want to get nuts? Like, who do you think you are, and do you even exist, and what's the whole point of it all? Why bother? My life is a sham. It's like, yes, wonderful. This idea, I want to tackle this self-love. Everyone you need to give yourself self-love, and I'm like, yeah. You never had love. How can you give yourself self-love if you don't even know what it is?
Right? What is Billy? What is love?
Then you must accept that you
Maybe
are never going to be able to give yourself self-love, but only an approximation of what you think self-love is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck you, Billy. I'm trying to feel better about myself. No.
Well, I hear a lot of MGTOW
Love anyway.
talk about how love doesn't exist. What is love, Billy?
Burgers.
Burgers.
There is no. It's actually someone said it quite in a nice capsulated way, where it's like something like the love of food is you can't beat the love of food. Like, that's the truest form of love, because I don't know, food is non-judgmental and just tastes so chicken licking, finger licking good. That's why, like, the path to a man's heart is through his stomach. So
Right.
you love a man, you give him a sandwich. See, there's love.
Yeah, that's what Bullet says. He's like, it's the equivalent of a man gave a woman roses. So food is love.
You hear silly things like love isn't supposed to hurt, and
Why not?
well,
Love hurts sometimes.
yeah. Love
It's
can be
supposed to. Tough love.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I got a drafted small thing about the self-love, these silly ideas that we like to tell ourselves in order to so-called heal but you know, is it really?
Right.
It's like, show yourself compassion. It's like you spent 40 years of your life thinking that you're kicking yourself in the back, browbeating yourself. Suddenly now you're going to be able to give yourself compassion. How's that
Right.
going to work?
Yeah.
You know, or the self-love. How's that? You know,
Well,
you're going to
y-
love something that's not even there because you divorce yourself from your own true, authentic self.
right. You know what bothers me? When people are afraid to be themselves. That is what I think bothers me the most about being immersed in a fucking, I don't know, normie culture, blue pill culture, whatever you want to call it, out there. Like, they're just afraid. I feel like I get sad about it, but at the same time, I am almost disgusted by it too, because I'm like, you fucking cowards.
They're afraid of being something that that wasn't allowed a chance to express itself authentically. So for all intents and purpose, never really existed. So you're saying in a way you're afraid to be something that never was.
Right.
What does that mean? You're afraid to be nothing. And then that kind of spooks people out because like, but I'm physically here, I've got a brain, I'm thinking, and then you sort of spiritually you're like, yeah, but you don't really exist because you're just a you're the manifestation of an idolized version of yourself.
Right.
How you are and how you're thinking right now, being egosyntonic in alignment with this ego, or believe in your own delusion, is you're believing that you're trying to believe that what this fake version of yourself is the real deal, but it's not. And you've done no development with the authentic self, the true self. You've discarded that long ago, or tried to. It lives in your shadow. But yeah, it kind of gets a bit esoterical.
Yeah.
People be like, "What the fuck is Billy on about?"
I feel like all men, though, in our society are at various different levels of that just because of feminism and the
Sometimes
cancel culture and fucking, what is it? Political correctness and, you know, society just pretty much not giving a fuck about men and
I like.
pedestalizing women.
I'm glad that you said some level,
Yeah.
because I have to
Every
keep
man I've ever come across has some level of that.
yeah, because we do need to, especially myself, need to be reminded that in a generalized way, these conversations that we have when we describe behaviors, we tend to, or at least I tend to, we talk about the extreme versions of it.
Yeah.
And so that's not really a fair, objective viewpoint. You know, like when we talk about narcissists, not it's actually a small percentage of the population.
Right.
So to meet someone who is a full-blown diagnosed NPD is actually quite rare. So more accurately, when we talk about narcissistic people, we're just talking about people who are somewhere on the spectrum. They're
Yeah.
not really full-blown. But to help with our understanding, we talk about it in the extremes.
Yeah.
So you can really kind of have a crystallized or you can see how far it can really go. But in defense of that, unfortunately, without any treatment and as time progresses, things do actually start to become more extreme.
Escalation.
Doubling down and things like and of that sort as well.
Yeah.
Desperation and the struggle is real. Yeah. So
Right.
it's almost, and it's a sad part as well, like these unhealthy types in that sense are in a bit of a competition of who can out narc the other narc.
Right.
If you were a low grade narcissist, as an
Yeah.
example, you could be a low grade psychopath or something, but you encounter someone who's a bit more cerebral and they're a narcissist or whatever, who's going to win? You know, it's going to be the one who's more entrenched in that disorder. Well, that's kind of not necessarily in a way, because it is self-defeating, but it's like an arms race.
Yeah.
You know, these disorders tend to be utilized in a way that they're looked at as from the narcissist point of view. Narcissism is a solution. It fixes their problems for them. So even though technically like a low grade narcissist would work better in objective reality,
Mm-hmm.
like things would be in their favor, so they would air quote win. But in the world of the narcissist, that is a disadvantage, because they have to follow the rules. They have some morals. They have some care and compassion. But if you're more ruthless and malicious and exploitative, then, and you can get away with it, then to the narcissist, that is the win. But that's not going to really work in objective reality, because more than likely, you know, you're going to start burning bridges and become isolated and get yourself into trouble and all the rest of it. So it depends how you define winning or success.
Right.
And then that's a question of like, I was going to do a stream. I think maybe tomorrow. If no one's streaming tomorrow, I might do a stream. You know, be discussing what makes you happy.
Sounds like a good one. Yeah.
It's going to be a chilled. It's actually, I think it's going to be a therapeutic chilled stream.
Does smelling the blood of my fallen enemies count?
Yes.
It makes me really happy.
Look on your face.
And roses too, if they're nearby. It was funny. I was looking up some. Love Who. He's probably one of my favorite that does the MBTI personality stuff. I think he gets my personality, like the dark side, the best. Like, apparently my personality type is not good about just relaxing and just enjoying experiences just to experience them. Like, I always have to be doing something, working on a project or something productive with an outcome, you know, besides pleasure or fun. I'm like, work is fun. But yeah. This is fun though.
Yeah, well, pleasure this is kind of like why computer games for some, well, I don't know, there's a lot of people who like computer games, but it can become a bit mundane, because pleasure for the sake of pleasure, without any context or meaning or significance, it's like, what the hell am I doing?
Right. Yeah.
It's like you enjoy a burger. Why? Because it tastes good. You don't sort of say, I enjoy a burger because I enjoy a burger. It's sort of, but why?
Yeah.
Because it's a burger. Because it's a burger. It's like, that's not a fucking answer.
Right.
Does it smell good? You know, does it yummy? Like, did it make you want to rub your belly? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right. So happiness for happiness to be a good thing, there is an attachment to a meaning. It makes you feel a certain way, you know.
Oh, Contriver. Contriver's just coming in at the end. I think you'll like this one, Contriver. Yeah. I don't know. Coming up with new ideas is fun. New ideas on.
I should have gave you this avatar instead. So that you
Yeah.
can,
It. I think Smith said it was Moloch.
from Indiana Jones. He's holding up a heart.
Oh.
Temple of Doom.
I haven't seen those.
You haven't seen it yet? Oh my god.
No, I haven't seen a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I mean, seriously,
All right. Well,
the past 18 years, it's been mostly anime.
I think Kush, like me and Kush, have a pretty similar taste in movies. I don't know, but maybe we should have a movie stream where we can just go through a whole list of, like, have you seen this movie? Have you seen that movie? And see who's seen what. And then
I've seen 300 like 300 times. It's my favorite movie.
300 is kind of like, I don't know what's the sort of the cutoff kind of year, but you know, like 80s, 90s movies is where we're at. Well, whatever. Like 300 is a good movie, but I mean,
oh yeah,
I'm thinking like pre-CGI or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like the CGI stuff very much for some reason. Like, okay, like the Labyrinth.
Oh,
you know how it had the puppets and the makeup, and it took time to like put together sets and like that stuff. I like the CGI shit. I'm like, there's no manpower that went into that.
No.
Like,
have you seen Dark Crystal?
No.
Oh, okay. If you like Labyrinth, you'll probably enjoy Dark Crystal.
Yeah. See, I feel like I like my movies to be super fantasy-ish, you know? Like I can't read fiction. I like to watch fiction. I like to read to learn knowledge stuff, nonfiction stuff. But I like my movies and stuff to be super visual. That's why I like 300, because it was all done in like one room. I mean, they had a green screen, but they did so many fucking props. Like that takes time and effort.
Abs.
Okay.
Airbrush the abs.
Right? The makeup. Yeah. They had some good makeup effects. Johnny's still here. Well, shall we call it Coach Goat? The Goat Coach.
Watch out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to bed. I only got like a couple hours of sleep. I was super excited about looking into this Magellan. I'm going after Magellan. I want to know in this company that I work for, whose fucking idea it was to have the company spend that kind of money for their employees. Because that shit's got to be expensive. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're paying that as a benefit, you know. Here, let's buy you some indoctrination as part of a benefit for working here. Like that costs a lot of money. And it's the same fucking company that is the military is attached to. So
I mean, state-wise, you'd think the whole thing would just costing the whole, the country is. You have a job, but you have to allocate finances for the employees' mental health
yeah.
to such a degree, like
Mm-hmm.
that without it, they can't do their job, sort of thing. And like, so who the hell are you employing here?
Right. 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 Bunch of crazy bitches. Just making them worse.
If you just employ people who are like sane, or without such issues, then you wouldn't necessarily need all this therapy and counseling.
I don't know how many people actually use it. Though, too. There's that part.
I mean, the diabetic clinic here, for a long time, since as long as I can remember, has a psychiatric section element to it, like in-house within the department. But the thing is, the diabetes, because it's like a broad, like you got the foot section, you got the eye section, and this is separate from the rest of the hospital, or you got the eye clinic kind of thing, like the main part. But in terms of like the diabetic wing of the hospital, within those walls are like they do your eyes, they check your feet, and they've got the therapeutical sort of counseling, as well as some other kind of, I don't know, facilities.
Right. Right.
That's what kind of twigged me onto, like, because I can understand like the eye, because you got a biological condition and it fucks your body up, all like every cell in your body. So yeah, okay, I can understand it fucks your eyes up, it fucks your feet up, it fucks whatever up, your organs, your kidneys.
Yeah, that's an actual physical medical condition.
Right, but to have a psychological sort of part of it makes me start to wonder. It's like, oh, I didn't realize. Well, at least when I was younger, I didn't realize. But now that I'm older with it, it's like, right. So diabetes does mentally cause havoc. And the more I've been diabetic throughout my life, the more I realize how much of an emotional experience diabetes is. As much of a medical problem it is a severely emotional experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like sugar is important, man. Going back to if it drops and you get hangry, like that's super emotional.
Look what happened last time I was on here.
You were about to talk about rainbows and unicorns. Yeah, we need to get that shit off.
Yeah. So,
super sentimental.
I just remember getting a kind of like getting goofy on all of you, but yeah. So I do appreciate that connection, that they got resources allocated for mental health with diabetes, but
that's like that's how I thought it used to be. Like you go to your doctor and you tell your physical doctor, hey, I got this thing going on, and they refer you. Your general practitioner, like your dude that you go to for health or chick or whatever, and they refer you to something. This is completely fucking a separate entity.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we're important. come to us. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it just seems a bit weird, or whatever.
Well, going back to what Emmanuel said, outsourcing these things that friends and family traditionally would have fucking sorted out. It's further isolating people. Because you put them in front of somebody who, is supposed to care or whatever, but really will never be able to meet those needs in that arena because they don't really know you. You spend many sessions trying to tell them about you so they get to know you. But still, no. It's an outsourced thing that's, I think, improperly
Yeah.
making
Ultimately,
people worse.
it ends up becoming basically a band-aid. So
Yeah.
it might look like the wound has been seen to.
Yeah.
It might have kind of stemmed the bleeding a little bit, but the wound's infected and it's still there.
Yeah.
And I think people on a society, they already kind of feel it. They know that these are desperate measures, or these are pseudo kind of protocols to take. They don't, but the thing is, they don't know what other way are they supposed to do things. It says on the label that we have a doctor here. Well, then that should solve the problem. It's like, no, it doesn't, because it's
Right.
just a label on a tin.
Right.
What's in the can is what matters. And then you find out it's all gluten-free, sugar-free, fat-free, meat-free. What the fuck is this thing made out of?
Right. Oh, I had a thought the other day. You know how Scorp thought is, LARPing is an INTJ because she wants to be a unicorn. One major things that clearly points out that she's not an INTJ is she's a fucking vegan. Just like the LGBTQ community, you won't find a fucking INTJ in the vegan community. Period. It will never happen. I feel like to deny your body meat is illogical and irrational. So there's no way.
Yeah. Well, we'll save the dietary
Yeah.
for another conversation.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Well,
so
you
good
are
night.
streaming tomorrow
Yeah.
for sure?
Not
Okay.
for sure. Just it depends. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'll try.
Okay. All right. Well, I will put your name in the description so people can find your channel if they don't already have it. I think everybody here already does, but
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. If you're not subscribed, what the hell's wrong with you?
yeah. Are you out of your mind? You've lost your damn mind.
A third of my viewers are not subscribed. Don't worry.
Really?
I'll lecture that third on my own stream.
Okay. All right, Billy. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, and great talking to you. And shout out, thanks to Johnny for coming up here and
Yeah, Johnny.
having a great laugh with us.
I know. He always makes me laugh. Good
And
dude.
we want to see your rap sheet when you're done.
Yes. I'm going to record it. I'm going to record these sessions. I don't give a fuck about the legalities. Maybe it'll be something we watch privately. No, I got to put them on blast. I'm sorry. If you are a public... if my taxpayer fucking money and my money is going into this service, this has to be a public thing. I'm sorry. I'm willing to, I don't care about the privacy aspect with the shit I say. So, yeah, I'm recording them. I got to figure out how.
Oh, just be careful with the legalities of it. So, okay.
Okay.
Take care. Adios.
All right. Bye, Billy. All right, everybody. Contriver, good to see you. Dak, good to see you. Johnny, thanks again for coming up. Smith, have a good night. Mandy, thank you for all your contributions to this chat. Who else? Woody, my e-son, Emmanuel. Good to see you. Hope things are going okay over there. I saw Psych had a couple uploads, which it's always nice to get confirmation that he hasn't been fucking genocided yet over in your country. So, I'm just talking to my butt. Now I gotta figure out. I want to record him. I want to talk to that one chick first, though. What was her name, Johnny? Not Betty. Somebody. The one with the mean mug. I would love to talk about BLM. Black Lives Matter. Oh, that'll be fun. Barbara Washington. Yes. Barbara. And watch. The crazy bitches that, psycho watch this are going to be calling them and warning them. Oh my God. There's this killer that's going to fucking talk to you. Be careful. Do it, Elspeth. I fucking dare you. That'll be funny. All right, yo. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody, for coming and contributing to the conversation. It's good to see y'all.